after 6 successive victories. Sydney, Geelong, Richmond, North Melbourne playing today in Melbourne, all at 7 and 5. Very important loss in the scheme of things, that one for Essendon, now 6 and 7, and Hawthorn down the bottom of the ladder at 2 and 10. But whilst the Hawks might be down the bottom of one ladder, the AFL ladder, they're certainly at the top of another ladder. They are the team with the most membership in the Victorian-based clubs, and to talk more about that, Hawthorn Chief Executive Michael Brown is with me. Michael, this is a remarkable result, 27,649, even bigger than the mighty Collingwood and Essendon.
Thanks. It's a result of a lot of work by a lot of people. I think Hawthorn has something unique to its members that no other club has had, that it's had 2 decades of success, and that's given us the opportunity to build on those membership bases, and the people have come back in support of Hawthorn, and we've worked hard to give them the support that they require.
A lot of people are saying the big test is going to be next year. The fact that you've had a struggling year, you won't make the finals, it certainly appears that way. To maintain that number next year would be a remarkable feat.
Sure. Look, I think it's important for any club today to be able to maintain its members and also give them value-added things that make them part of our sporting organisation. We're currently investigating a range of activities that will get them involved in the Hawthorn culture. They've proven their support. What we need to do now is to ensure that we show them competitive performances and that we're on the way back as a force in football.
The Waverley debate continues, and of course your president Ian Dicker has been very outspoken about it. We can take a look at the facts over the last 3 weeks here at Waverley Park, that we've had the biggest crowd of the round, 41,000, almost 42, then 71 for the St Kilda Richmond game, 50,500 for St Kilda Collingwood. That's an average of 54,000. People are voting with backsides on seats that they want Waverley Park to be retained. I don't think there's any doubt about that.
The issue that has concerned us all along is that whilst we are part of Waverley as a football club, it's football at Waverley that's important to us. This is a venue not unlike any other regional centre in Melbourne. We have Port Adelaide, Fremantle, Geelong that operate as regional centres and are given the opportunity to promote football in those areas. Waverley has a huge population base. It's proven itself as a strong supporter organisation. It has the largest football league in Australia, in the Eastern Football League in its area. And whilst we are pushing for the retention of Waverley, not only for Hawthorn but for football itself, and we believe that people are voting, the councils are voting, and we'd certainly like to believe that would be where football's headed.
Are you a little bit miffed that you seem to be left by yourself by St Kilda, who look as though they're going to make a commitment to the Docklands?
I think it's important for St Kilda to make decisions that are most important to them. I'm aware of discussions they've had with Docklands. We've gone down the same path as an organisation. To be professional, we're looking at MCG Docklands as options if Waverley doesn't become the place that we should be. Andrew Plimpton and his staff have got to look at what's best for the St Kilda Football Club. No deal has yet been done with Docklands as far as I'm aware, and I guess they'll weigh up the options when the Anderson report is released at the end of June.
Well, Michael, as we said at the top of the segment, you're on the bottom of the ladder, but they're saying that you are one of the best teams ever to be on the bottom of the ladder at 2 and 10. Lost 5 in a row. We've taken a bit of a sweep out here at Waverley this afternoon amongst the crew. Most of them have gone for Hawthorn.
Good. I think if you look at our performances, we've lost 6 games by less than 3 goals, and at the end of the day that does indicate to us that we're a little bit light on for talent. Apart from probably 2 occasions this year, our performance has been extremely strong and very dynamic. So we believe if we can maintain that intensity today, we'll match North Melbourne in every facet and hopefully be victors at the end of the day.
Thanks for joining us on Sports AFL and good luck to the Hawks.
Thanks, Peter.
Michael Brown, the Hawthorn Chief Executive, joining us here at Waverley Park this afternoon. So it's 7th versus 16th. Should be a great game coming up. Tony Free will be joining us in commentary on the other side of this break. And we're back with you at Waverley Park before the big clash between Hawthorn and North Melbourne. They provided us with one of the games of the year here last year in round 6. And joining me in commentary, former Richmond champion and captain Tony Free. G'day, Fraser.
How are you, Peter?
I'm all right. Better than the North Melbourne mascot. He's copping a bit of a caning from the Hawthorn mascot and also the Hawthorn cheer squad. Good to see them getting into it and having a bit of fun before the game.
I was watching the mascots and just thinking it might be a good indication of how this game's going to go too. I just think it might be very tight and very tough. And both clubs have got a lot to play for. Hawthorn, as you know, sitting on bottom of the ladder, but have performed admirably in a lot of their losses. And I just think, you know, something's going to happen just around the corner, and it might even be today.
I don't think there's any doubt that Hawthorn will get off to a good start. Looking at the stats throughout the year, only the Western Bulldogs have been a better starting team than Hawthorn.
Yeah, they have started sensationally on a couple of occasions, and that might blow out the figures a bit. I think they've had some really big first quarters. North Melbourne are good starters too, and when they do start well, they win games, as the stats shows. So Hawthorn will be looking to get to a very good start if they want to stay in this contest, and I think I think they will, and it will be very tight early.
How much is the loss of Mickey Martin going to mean to North Melbourne?
Oh, I think it's a big loss. I really do. And watching them play last week, hey, when you can pencil someone like that in at full back and base your whole back line around that, it just makes a big difference.
North Melbourne coming onto the ground. Andrew Maher is down at ground level, soaking up the atmosphere.
Yeah, g'day, Pete. I'm pretty close to Corey McKernan, just having a look at the two hand guards, and he's got the far two left fingers of his left hand really heavily brace as he goes through the banner. They seem to be fairly composed in North Melbourne. Blake's not too over the top, certainly no terrible sort of gesticulating, just to be fairly focused and going through the motions.
And the cheer squad did a pretty good job because it is very windy down there at ground level, and I think footballers can cope with cold. They can even cope with heat, Tony, but they don't like playing in the wind.
No, it just makes your skills very difficult, doesn't it? And when it does favour one end, as it looks like it does at the moment, yeah, it means there's a lot of hard work when you're going against it. And you know, we like to see a good, clean game of footy where the skills are exposed to to their greatest level, and it just does make it difficult.
And Stuart Cochrane is out there for North Melbourne, All-Australian at under 17 level. Here come the Hawks now onto the ground, and once again down to Andrew Maher.
Thanks, Pete. They're gathering behind the legendary Jason Dunstall, of course. Again, seem fairly sort of quiet and focused, and no jumping around. There's not too much screaming going on. They're not sort of super hyped or anything, but Dunstall's right in the middle of them now. In a quiet word, break through the banner now. So neither side sort of obviously over the top, fired up for it, I wouldn't say.
Jason Dunstall, of course, Tony Free, is the key to the team. If he is to fire and say he gets a couple of early goals on the board, gets his confidence up, then he could very well be the man that North Melbourne have to put the brakes on today.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see who they try and match up on him. He is the key. He's got a likely type in Dixon alongside him too.
Yeah.
He kicked 6 goals last week, which a bit of a surprise to some, but just shows that there's some goal-kicking power up there. You throw in Holland at centre-half forward, and North Melbourne really do have to get their matchups right if they're to contain that forward line.
Shane Crawford has also been outstanding for Hawthorn so far this year.
He has. He's a fantastic player. He's a real athlete, enormous endurance, and he's got the other attributes of pace and strength as well. And he's matched up on key position players too, we've seen in the past. So I wonder where he'll play. Probably midfield.
Let's go down to the ground, find out if there are any late changes in the Hawthorn lineup. And here is former Hawthorn champ Kelvin Moore with Andrew Maher.
Thanks very much, Pete. Well, any changes in the Hawthorn lineup, Kel?
Andrew, no, we're as selected. Yeah, the same 21, 2.
Yeah.
Sorry, as selected.
When a guy like Mick Martin goes out of the opposition, what does that do for your sort of pre-game strategies?
It didn't throw us out greatly because, to be honest, we expected him to be out, Andrew. I mean, his recent problems with that injury would led us to believe that, it might be struggling to come up in 1 week. So we've probably really gone in with the structure that he wouldn't be in all week.
Okay, and what about your pre-game sort of tactics with Carey? You're expecting him to line up at centre-half forward, and if so, what matchup have you got in mind?
Oh, look, we've probably got a couple up our sleeve because we get great respect for Carey. Look, he may start at centre-half, those things, but we expect him to play the majority of the day at centre-half forward and that way. And
the kid Hayes been really impressive. Is there a chance that he might be given the huge task on him at some stage?
Oh, look, at some stage I wouldn't discount that because, I mean, he is, even though he's only young, he does suit, his athleticism would see him put in there, but he's certainly not first up.
Terrific, thanks, good luck.
Thanks a lot.
And net up, they're obviously got a pretty big game today, and they're going to need stacks out of your halves up behind the Hawthorn end. Of course you are halves, and Nick Holland, if they're going to win, Nick Holland's going to be the man that needs to put some scoreboard pressure on. He gets plenty of it, but needs to kick some goals.
Yes, you're right, Andrew, and I think Nick Holland perhaps might be the key to Hawthorn today. He can play really well because I don't think North Melbourne have got a suitable matchup for Nick Holland. If you try McCartney on him, I think Nick Holland's going to be too mobile for him. Perhaps Pike might be the best bet, but wait and see how that eventuates. But Nick Holland can create a few headaches for the North Melbourne Football Club today. Also, Crawford, he's starting to find some real touch now and starting to get to somewhere near his playing days about a year or two ago, and he's been terrific. And out in this ground, his endurance is most valuable to Hawthorn. This is where he plays well, out at Waverley. And also a young fella called Hay, you were just talking about, Andrew. Well, probably a good idea for Hawthorn not to start him on Carey. Perhaps if Mark Graham, the older, more experienced defender, can start on him, And if he's not beating Wayne, well, then you can try harding him at some stage. But he's a promising player of the future, let me tell you. Back to you, Andrew.
Thank you very, very much, Mark. And we're joined by injured North forward Brett Allison. And what's the mood in the rooms like, mate?
Yeah, very intense down the rooms today, Andrew, I can assure you of that. And well, Dennis obviously looking for a big performance from the boys today.
The fact that they don't lose 2 in a row all that often, they obviously get stung whenever they get beaten. Does Dennis become a different sort of beast after a defeat?
Well, no, he's pretty much the same person. You know, he hates losing, and hopefully that 2 in a row record we can keep intact today.
And we all saw the name Martin back in Thursday night, but we all had question marks, obviously out. Was he ever a realistic chance of playing, do you think?
Yeah, I think he was a realistic chance of playing, and I think they've just, at the last minute, they've changed their mind and decided to hang on to him, and hopefully so it doesn't break down again. We need him further down the track.
And just quickly, have you had a good look at Corey's handguards?
I have, and they're pretty ugly things, but they seem to be doing the job. He's holding his marks at training, so hopefully they can do the job today.
Let's hope you're out back there pretty quickly. Thanks for coming down. No worries, good on you. Good luck today. And Ned, Corey, I mean, have you ever had to play your footy with any of those sorts of structures on your hands?
Actually, yeah, I have. Actually, the last year I got my finger badly smashed, and you see him on screen there. The hardest thing, you actually mark the ball quite well, even though you've got those guards on. The concern is when you actually have to kick the ball, it's very hard to guide the ball down, and especially when you look at the conditions, that'll be the hardest factor of Corey's game today. And also getting some touch, trying to mark the ball is going to be very hard because the blustery conditions. But the other guy there's Stevens. Last week, the Campbell-Stevens matchup was very interesting. Both of those guys only getting like 11 possessions, nullifying each other. And Toyne Wayne in the week, he was very happy with that. I think they'll try and free this guy up today and try and get him driving the ball out of the centre and giving something to McKernan and also to Carey if they go forward. The other guy, Archer, I mean, an out-and-out champion, throws his body around, and it's just amazing courage he has. And I think that he will get Dunstall, so that'll be one of the great matchups today, and be interesting to see the head-to-head contest with that.
Craig Kelly up behind the goals at the main scoreboard end. Let's take a look at the personnel details for both teams. Height-wise, and you can see that Hawthorn much taller in the mid-range, North having 5 more players in the small range, Tony.
Yeah, certainly have, and interesting looking at the styles of game and how they play and how they'll eventuate.
And as far as the weight is concerned, and again, North twice as many in the top range, the average games as the toss of the coin takes place between Carey and Dunstall, 2 champions of the game in the middle of the ground. And Dunstall having played 267, Salmon 259. They're the experienced ones. North have 3 players of 200 games plus, and they have won the toss and will kick to the right of screen. Importantly, North have got 6-1 in the range between 150 and 200 games. So they have the edge and experience, 118-80. And there is the betting, and the national sports bet people have made North Melbourne a warm favourite at $1.45, but certainly the general mood is that Hawthorn are going to make it much closer than those figures would indicate. Weather today, it's a pretty cool afternoon in Melbourne. Showers this afternoon, a strong northerly wind, and we're expecting a top of 15. Currently 13 degrees, but not a bad day for football apart from this gusty wind, which was going to make skill very difficult this afternoon. Umpires, Gavin Dorr, the 37-year-old who umpired the 96 grand final, Stephen Hanley, number 18, and that man, Andrew Malcolm, number 20, the 26-year-old customer service representative who will start the game. There's Mickey Martin, and wouldn't North Melbourne love to have him out there? We spoke to him on Sports AFL before the game last week, and he has to look on from the sidelines. Well, the matchup's just starting to form. Interchange players will check with Andrew Maher in just a moment. But let's take a look at the matchups, and there is Wayne Carey. Mark Graham's got him. Craig Kelly, what about down your end? Jason Dunstall being picked up by Archer?
Yeah, gone to Archer. Jason McCartney looks like he'll be picking up someone else at centre back. Good to see King. They missed him last week when he got injured by that incident with Wayne Campbell. He's loose at the moment. Oh, no, sorry, we'll pick up Lord.
Bounce of the ball. We'll check the other matchups very shortly. Round 13 at Waverley Park. Salmon and McKernan. That should be a terrific battle in the ruck today. Woods gets the first hand on the ball and gives it to Lord. His quick left foot kick, umpire falls over in the early minutes. Taken by Justin Crawford, dribbles a kick towards Dunstall. Quick hand pass to Dixon, who just wasn't able to get a handle on it. And that's a free kick for a high tackle, as you heard Ned say.
Yeah, it was good work by Dixon. Quick hands by Dunstall, kept it in front of him and just gave away the free kick there, Peckett, and obviously a bit disappointing. A hard kick though, guys. It'll be very hard today from these pockets.
Which post will he have to aim for, Ned? The right-hand goal post?
Well, watching the reserves, yes, it was sort of pulling back and floating around, and you'd think the right-hand goal post, as a left footer kicks it, which he is, it's going to be hard for him.
Turned 21 last Sunday, Ben Dixon. 6 goals last week against the West Coast Eagles. This to get the Hawks off to a flyer. He's aimed in that direction. It goes across the face of goals, and the mark is taken by Holland.
Got to move it inside. He's done that. Kepler. Now this is a better side for Kepler, being the left footer. He should be able to swing it back in. Interesting also, Stevens and Crawford. Crawford's gone to Stevens. He's done that recently. Every time he's gone to a key player to match them up, and they think he works better that way.
Kepler, very good kick normally. Kicks from 40.
Great.
He's put it through.
Great kick.
Good start to the Hawks. Darren Kepler gets first blood for Hawthorn. They lead by 6 points at the 1.5-minute mark. Let's check the interchange with Andrew Marr down at ground level.
Thanks, Pete. John Longmire, Cocker and Crocker and Scott for North, and Rawlings, Leckis, Harford and Chapman for the Hawks.
And just down this end of the ground, Peter, we've got Daniel Chick picking up Craig Scholl at full forward, and also Robbins picking up Hewitt in the forward pocket. And let me tell you, Mark Graham has run down the ground 3 times already, so Wayne Carey's going to have a long, hard day.
I'll tell you what, gentlemen, that matchup between Stevens and Crawford should be a ripper. They're in the top 10, obviously both 2 midfielders, and you know, that's going to be a great contest.
Pike, you see in the middle there, doing a bit now at the moment, Harvey next to him, but Pike, I reckon, is crucial to have for the North Melbourne side. Without him and also Mickey Martin, it's been an unbalancing thing for the North Melbourne team.
So the Hawks off to a flyer, as they generally do. A good start. They lead by 6 points. McKernan takes it. Stevens, Chandler, dispossessed quickly. Pike wheeling around, took a few men on. That's holding it. You can't do that, Martin. Hawthorn fierce in the tackle, and the big fellow, Paul Salmon. It was 14 years ago in round 13 that round 13 proved unlucky when he copped that knee injury when playing for Essendon against Collingwood. Feeds the run of Tony Woods, who got a lot of space just off the footy. Kicks into the pocket. Archer got to the front. Off the ground by Grant. Woods plays it on quickly into the pocket. Lord turns King inside out. Can he get Hawthorn second? He's going to take his man on, and he probably made a mistake because he had players calling for it.
Well, it should have been almost holding the ball, that. But the interesting thing there is watching King. King could hardly turn around, and we saw last week when he got that trip and hurt his knee. I just couldn't believe that. If he's that sore and can't turn like that, he's in for a long day as well. With the kick in its a normal zone, and they'll have to go out, play pretty straight bat early, going to Salmon.
Salmon flies, punches down instead. Blakey waiting underneath it, just slipped, got the hand pass off to Stevens. On his left towards Hewitt and Robran. Ball bounces back over their heads, and Abraham is there to take the crumbs. Didn't have anyone to give it to. Trelevin fed the run of Kepler. Hand pass away to Holland. Fumbled just the original contact. Blakey and Tallis, good contest. And umpire Gavin Dorr will bounce it 55 metres out.
Just saw Nick Holland there. Last week in the game against the West Coast Eagles, just really needs to concentrate, get the ball cleanly in his hands, and then the quick give. Sometimes he just gives it before he's got it.
Huge pack around the ball. McCartney and Holland did the ruck work. Ball went behind Trelevin, taken by Dixon. Tried to get it to Woods. It goes along the boundary line. Hawthorn conceding ground here. They want to be careful. North can open it up. And open it up they do. Harvey, who's been very good for them in the last few matches, in towards Craig Scholl, takes a 2-grabber in front of Chick. 65 metres out from goal, told to play on now. Hay goes for the smother. Scholl got the kick away. Hewitt going back with a fly to the footy. Off the ground by Stevens. Off the back of Tony Woods. Little soccer kick. He's been watching the World Cup. Crawford has too. He comes out wide, and he's got a man in space here, and that's Justin Crawford. Uses Graham. He'll want his left. Skirts the boundary line. Kicks at 25 metres, not very good. Good contest though. Pike bodied out of it by Crummell, taken by McCartney. To half forward, Carey. Too much latitude.
Oh, what happened then? Mark Graham actually got that kick along the boundary line here, Peter, and turned over the ball. Therefore, Carey was left by himself, and he really did pay for that bad kick. Just tell you what's happening. McKernan's going to centre square to do the rucking contest, and then they're actually changing. Roberts is going around the ground, running Salmon around the ground.
Wayne Carey looking for his 29th goal of the season. Kicks from 45, and he's hooked it.
That's a good matchup, isn't it, halves, having, I reckon, Roberts running around the ground just in these conditions. It'll be very hard for Fish to stay with him.
Yes, it will be, Ned, in both 33 and 34 years of age, so it's really going to test these two. Robbins kicking out. No one to the left of my screen here, and so they've got to go to the right-hand side. They're looking for Salmon.
Salmon just got to the contest. It went over the head of he and McKernan. Roberts gave it to Stevens within 30 metres of the goal. Carey at the back. Fists it down in disciplined fashion. Crawford. Good handball. Treleaven off to McCabe. Kapler running with the flight, goes over his head, bounces on its point.
It's interesting then, guys, halves. The kick-in was a man-on-man situation. Hawthorn, North Melbourne deciding to go man-on-man. I suppose with the conditions would mean that they're expecting the ball not to be delivered as well.
Yep.
And so perhaps they can afford not to do the zone.
That'll fluctuate, Ned. They'll go one-on-one and then they'll go to the zone, just to confuse them.
Interesting fact there that Shane Crawford and Dunstall, the only men to have played in a winning team against North Melbourne. Crummel's long kick. Holland's got space at the back of Blakey. Can he pick it up? Blakey's in there to make the contest of it. He did very well, the North Melbourne veteran. Flipped it out the side door. Roberts delayed the handball. He want to get it off now and does. Kapler, Mellington. Just let him take the mark, 65 metres out. Kapler's kick partially smothered, off the ground by Pickett. Harvey couldn't get a handle on it. Crawford could, and there's a free kick here, and it's going to come back, and it's going to be taken by Harvey of North Melbourne.
Crucial smother then by the North Melbourne players on the Kapler kick, because Lord had got loose and they were in the middle of the ground just inside 50.
Harvey's kick almost clears the centre square. Hewitt, the youngster, rising star nom this year, takes the good mark. 65 metres out from goal. He's kicked to within 15. Carey at the back. Salmon at the front spot, trying to block his path. Hand pass out to Abraham. Abraham should goal. He's missed. Well, little pressure there, and he should have done better than that.
And that's what's going to happen all day. Salmon's going to try and drop back on Carey all the time, so therefore Roberts has to be the link-up man across the centre there. Robin kicking in once again, and they've only got one player out in the boundary line to my left. They're all huddling in the middle.
Yeah, Hewitt and McKernan are out wide, aren't they, just by themselves for the longer kick to punch back.
They're pointing where to go.
And the kick goes into the pocket, and the mark is taken by Hay. North Melbourne's kick efficiency as Hay comes back to Robrin and didn't reach him on the full. 16% at the moment, North's kick efficiency. The wind taking its toll. Hewitt takes another mark. Moves it on quickly to the left foot of Stevens towards the lead of Carey. Missed his target. At the back, Treleaven. Hay twisting and turning in heavy traffic. Might have been tripped. Umpire said play on. Graham over the top. Kapler picking up early possessions. Runs away from Mellington. Delivers off his left. It goes over the head of Crummell. He's got the run on it. 2 metres on McCartney. Crummell's kick. Archer. 2 metres in front of Dunstall.
Actually, Crummell's going to be dangerous for North Melbourne because he's got some serious pace on Jason McCartney, and they've just got to put it over his head.
Good delivery by Archer to the left foot of Abraham, off to McKernan. Stretches up the fingers, couldn't complete the mark, and the ball spills over the boundary line.
And Hayes playing on McKernan when he drops out after the centre square bounce, so good learning curve for the young fellow there.
The Hawthorn still have to keep trying to throw the ball around back there, although they turn it over the last couple of times, because that's what hurt North Melbourne last week with Richmond, and even though the conditions weren't too good last week, still paid off in the end.
Salmon was wrapped up. Kapler just threw it out in the end. Scholl, reflex kick, heads towards the boundary and just bounces over, and as we saw, only the Western Bulldogs with 375 points have been better starters than Hawthorn, who've kicked 342 points in the first quarter this year. We saw Darren Crocker on the bike. Boundary throw in right on the 50. Tapped down by McKernan. Ends up with Scholl. Throws one up in the air. Mellington getting underneath it with McCabe. McCabe did pretty well. Got it towards the boundary line. Found Robrin. Throws it on his foot. Gains about 15 metres. Mellington is first there. Couldn't pick it up though. Neither could Crawford. He goes in for a second effort.
So he's got the free kick better.
And told to play on now is McCabe. Advantage paid. Moves it onto the wing. Mark taken by Lord. Between wing and halfback. Wynn playing havoc with the delivery of these sides in the early minutes of this game at Waverley Park. Lord heads towards Dixon. Superior judgment though by Pickett. Played all 13 games this year, Byron Pickett. Crawford front spot. Carey couldn't get to it. Graham used his body well. Tried to get the hand pass off. Carey got a fingernail in. Pike decides to go charging through. Took his man on. Got the hand pass away to King. Off a step. Not a very good kick. Good contest by all players though as the ball fell. Graham. Taylor. Carey the tackle.
Too high.
Umpire said too high.
Tell you what, it's just a great contest at the moment, isn't it? The ball's turning over a lot, but both teams have certainly come to play.
Salmon on the transfer.
And he squares it wide to Salmon. Actually gave ground to make ground. Salmon runs outside his defensive 50 and heads towards the run of Kapler. A couple of speedsters here, but neither of them, either Kapler or Abraham, could reach the ball before it hit the boundary.
Yeah, Fish had plenty of time there. He really should have hit his target there, and a wasteful kick.
Just noticing halves North are persevering with that really open forward line. They almost have everyone outside the 50, don't they?
Yeah, they like to do that so Wayne Carey can run back into that space, Tony.
North Melbourne looking for its best ever winning streak against Hawthorn. If they win today, that'll be 10. Roberts will equal the best, in fact, if they win today. That was back in the 50s. And it was quite remarkable that Hawthorn strung together a succession of wins. In fact, they won 14 in a row until North got their sequence together, and they've won the past 9.
And Robin's doing the right thing here. They're all gathered at the stoppage here, and Robin sat back in the space to hopefully block it off.
Drags Hewitt back with him. Kapler went off the ground. Salmon tapped it into open space. Hawthorn had the numbers. Harvey overran it. McCabe heads to the boundary and kicks it out on the full.
Got a man up quickly here, Hawthorn, and not have a loose man for North Melbourne. They shouldn't have.
Not pretty footy at the moment with the wind a factor. Bell's kick up towards Carey and Graham. Graham just slung Carey out of the way, and the umpire said he held him, and Carey will reap the rewards 12 metres out directly in front.
Well, if this had been later in the game, we would have said Wayne would have bluffed the umpire here, but very soft free kick, one would think, and sometimes Wayne has a lot to say to the umpires and sometimes can get easy free kicks because of the fact that he has a go at the umpires throughout the course of the game.
Well, he's going to kick North's first at the 12-minute mark, and the Kangaroos lead by a point.
It's a big free kick, that, isn't it? It's such a windy day, getting a kick like that 15 metres out from goal. Free kick might have been there. It didn't look like there was a lot in it, though, did it, halves?
No, not at all, Tony, and they can really hurt you early in the game when Hawthorn really have basically controlled the game, and all of a sudden North Melbourne bob up and kick a goal, and there's, well, 1 point of difference.
Just trying to get to the front spot there, Mark Graham, and paying the price. Carey has 1 goal, 1 of North Melbourne's 1 goal, 2. And approaching the 13-minute mark of the first quarter, the Kangas have their noses in front.
I think he's playing him the right way, though. See how he's not actually finding the body with Wayne Carey. He's actually giving himself some room and just picking up the fly of the ball, Graham, so good work.
Bounce in the middle, favours Salmon. Got it down to Trelevin, throws up a skyrocket kick. Straight up in the air, McKernan, told to play on, didn't travel the required distance. It did drift a bit, that kick, though. Out comes Blakey, and the veteran throws it on his left foot and kicks it long and lands just inside the boundary line.
It's interesting with Blakey that and a guy like Holland. I mean, they're very well suited to each other. Holland loves going on the long leads, and Blakey's never going to lose Blakey. So he might need to just think about how he can play and being a little bit taller, be a bit smarter, and perhaps just try a bit of one-on-one body stuff.
McKernan out of the ruck, turned around, delivered it to the 50, and Carey took a brilliant mark despite close checking by Graham.
Yeah, and Hay was dropping back there and really should have cut off Carey there, and he's got a route to play a little bit better if he's going to play the loose man, Peter.
You'd almost back him from here, Freezer. He'll kick the distance,
Certainly,
even in this breeze.
That's right, yeah. I think he's a big chance, and how many times do you see him go back and really nail those goals?
He'll kick from 55 metres. Graham standing right on the 50-metre line. Carey getting close to the man on the mark. That's a huge kick, though.
He's got it.
That is enormous.
That's when all the hard work over the pre-season, the leg weights and that type of thing, that's when it all comes into account, when you're shooting for goal that far out and you can make the distance.
Oh, mate, I could have done leg weights for 10 years and still wouldn't have kicked it that far.
Yeah, you're dead right.
Great kick.
Carey has his second. He's now kicked 44 goals in his career versus Hawthorn. Last time they played, he played at centre-half back on Nick Holland, and he got the 3 Brownlow votes. And the man playing on him today, Mark Graham, got 2. North Melbourne leads by 7 points. McKernan tried for a climb. Salmon stayed on the deck and did the right thing because he got the kick away. Blakey trying to charge through the middle. Good tackle by Dixon. And the umpire says Andrew Malcolm, he had no opportunity, he'll bounce it.
It's hard with these conditions, like you're always taught to play in front of your man, but it's really the way the ball's coming down here, it's carrying a little bit extra over the top, so you've got to be careful not to get under the ball and let the Hawthorn guys run onto it as the North Melbourne defenders. Just got to watch that.
Dunstall given plenty of room in the goal square. Crawford got one there. Trelevin bombs it long, and there's a free kick, and it's coming back, and it's going to go to Crawford, who did cop one, and he'll take the kick from 55 metres out.
Why wouldn't that be down the ground? Can anyone tell me?
I think it might have been before the kick went away, Harves.
Okay.
Crawford looking for the lead. Comes out towards Holland. And he got the space on Blakey and takes the mark at 45.
It's a great kick, isn't it, Freeze, into that space. I mean, it's just got to be pinpoint, because if it gets turned over, they're running into an open wing, and then basically can almost take it to the other end without touching opposition touching the ball.
That's right. It's an important kick and an important effort by Holland too. He's got some of the best hands, or the best pair of hands in the league just about. So I suppose he's the one to put it in front of anyone.
Dutchie's improved his kicking over the last couple of years, but this will test him. Kicks from the 50. And look at the trajectory on that.
And
a goal. No. Yes. Lord's got it. Crawford missed. Lord mopped it up. Unbelievable.
That was an unbelievable kick, Freeze.
Didn't it bend a mile?
Shane Warne wronging.
It was off. It just, the big outswinger, and then it somehow bounced back the other way. And look at this.
That's amazing.
A little bit to do with the style of kicking, and Dutchie, great work here by the guys just crumbing the bottom of the pack. But I don't think Nick's going to enjoy. It's going to be a hard day for Nick Holland to kick the ball, because he actually drops the ball. Oh, here's a bit of a
wrestle on in the centre there.
Oh, they're good in the freeway.
Chandler and Taylor.
Actually drops the ball the fair way from his foot, so it's going to be hard. He's got to concentrate.
Chandler gets the free kick. Robran and Hewitt. Punch came from the Hawk defender. Roberts can use Abraham inside the centre square. He'll kick it very long. That is a long kick by Abraham. What a bomb!
Well, I mean, I don't know if the wind is actually blowing down this way, but the way some of these kicks are carrying, one would think that it has to be coming down here.
Yeah, I think once you get it over that height of the stand, the wind is certainly ripping down that way, and Abraham does kick a high ball, and that just kept travelling, didn't it?
Well, that's from 60, at least 65, perhaps even 70 nearly.
Still inside the centre square, and it clears the goal line by 3 or 4 metres.
There's plenty of byplay in the centre, isn't there, with Chandler tagging Taylor closely, Stevens on Crawford, and Pike getting in there mixing it up. It's interesting stuff watching that centre square.
Winston Abraham in his 51st game. He's played every game this year for North, one of 11 players to have done so. Bounce taken, the tap taken by McKernan. Pike roaring through the middle. North coming forward in numbers, huge pack. Carey front and square. Racing in after it was Hay to clean it up. Robran's kick beautifully smothered by Mellington. Robran gets it back. Crawford has got a man short. Uses him. It's the big fish. Salmon plays on. Delivery was good in the windy conditions and found Crummell on the wing. Adjacent to the interchange gates. Hawthorn's forward line very open. Crummell goes the 1-2. Got 2 stats for that. That's cheating. McCartney smothered the kick. Went back to Crummell. Gave it to Holland. Into the pocket. Towards Dixon.
Oh.
Good hands.
Good hands. I thought that was going to travel over his head. I think Pickett thought it as well. Playing on now.
And again the smother. So North Melbourne have effected 3 smothers in the last 30 seconds. That would keep Dennis Pagan pretty happy. Dixon, hot hand pass to Trelevin, and North can make them pay here. Roberts feinted the handball, then went for a dinky little kick, taken by Pike. Pike's kick across his body, bounces awkwardly. Chick moves it on by hand to Woods. He runs inside the centre square. Delivery not great at the bootlaces of Crummell. Tapped it on cleverly. Trelevin over the head of Justin Crawford. King pushing back. Crawford pushing him. And the umpire said you can't do that.
Amazing number of smothers, and it's a real headache for Hawthorn, because it's hard enough to win the footy on a day like today, let alone give it away through poor kicking.
And if they hadn't smothered it, they're actually all the next kicks were on. They would have hit the target most probably, and be having a shot at goals.
Well done by the big fish amongst a huge pack. Moved it on quickly to Graham. Holland going back. Pickett.
An important mark, that one, wasn't it? 2-on-1, and he's turned it over.
Showed the judgment.
Talk a bit more.
The kick clean bowls Chandler and Taylor. Dribbles inside the 50. Hawthorn having to defend. They've got to keep their feet, though. Off the ground by Scholl. Robran moves it on into the pocket despite pressure from Chandler. Abraham and Chick doing battle. Abraham did well. Scholl just couldn't hang on.
There's some pretty ordinary kicks going on out there, and the boys have to get it right. A lot of turnovers being created, and a lot of headaches for the coaches at the moment.
Trelevin off, half it on. There have been 5 turnovers in the game so far. Salmon's palm down, goes to a stalemate.
It just really does appear which side settles down and changes their style of game to suit the conditions, you know, will get on top. I think both sides are struggling a little bit. It must be quite windy out there.
For the first time in their past 4 matches, North Melbourne has exceeded 18 points in the first quarter. So this is their best start, and normally when they start well, they win. Bell was pushed in the back, but still got it off to Harvey. McKernan coming out, takes the mark at 55. By hand to Roberts, who's also a long kick. 52 metres, heads for home, and there's another one.
A great play by Corey to roll off and play on a handball to Roberts to give him the free shot at goal there.
I'm amazed the wind's actually blowing that way. It's incredible, isn't it?
Yeah.
When you look at the flags, it's sort of, it's just the ball's carrying.
52 metres that kick from Mark Roberts, playing in just his 3rd game this year. Danger signs a little bit here for Hawthorn, but given the fact that North obviously do have the use of the breeze, they shouldn't be too worried at the moment. Margin is 13 points.
And most of the goals coming from outside 50, so it really is indicating the wind's there, and North Melbourne are, you know, thinking about their forward moves.
Salmon again, clever in the middle, right inside the centre ring. Crawford's hook kick across his body. Good battle going on at centre half forward for Hawthorn. Pickett trying to charge through. Tallis gets in front of him. Crawford dribbles one out. Roberts charging through the middle of the pack. Got it off to Stevens, had to kick with his unfavoured right foot. Bad bounce. Salmon, Woods, Dixon in the clear. Stabs a pass and didn't do it very well and gave it to Roberts in the middle of the ground, and they can rebound here quickly, North. McKernan put the handball behind Abraham. Runs outside the centre square. Big Shepherd going on behind play. Almost the mark to Hewitt. Umpire said, yeah, he had enough of it. David King just having a few words to Nick Holland in the middle of the ground. Hewitt into space. Not a good option. 3-on-1. Pike's on the deck for North Melbourne. Ball spilled free in the tackle. Kapler heads towards the boundary line, and they should be content to see it over.
Pike's doing some hard running here. He's run down from the back line into the forward line, and he does that quite often throughout the course of the game and can be dangerous because he does kick goals off the half-back flank.
Boundary throw in to take place. 65 metres around. There are the top 5 possession winners. Salmon and Roberts, along with Treleaven, the main possession winners on the ground so far. And there's another one to the fish. 7th disposal off to Tallis. Tallis a hook left foot kick. Crummell got to the front. Lord, Crummell, Tallis stands and delivers up towards the edge of the centre square. Good mark by Dixon. Moved it on. Justin Crawford. Dunstall running into the pocket. He's got the ground on Archer. That's a sensational mark by the oldest man on the ground and one of the greatest players ever to play the game.
Well, that definitely held up the ball, meant that Jason was able to just get to it, and he's playing on now.
Just notice how Ned he spits on his hands to get the grip just before the lead.
Right across the face of goals from Dunstall. And Blakey content to see it over the boundary.
Spits on his hand. He's got this amazing gel with this shot. That's great. Just read that the ball was going to carry. Blocked Archer a little bit, then took off, and that's just it's a great kick, but it's also helped by the wind conditions, and it's even more important to have a forward that actually throws his body like Jason does to be able to get on the end of it.
Crummell and Blakey doing battle in the ruck, taken by Justin Crawford, broke the tackle, got it off, taken by Harford, left foot snap towards the goals, bit of a wrestle going on. Dixon was held by the arm, and getting back 3rd man in the contest, Archer took the mark.
Doesn't he do that well, doesn't he? Comes in late, backs himself, plenty of courage, and more often than not takes the mark.
Yeah,
Roberts has been very important for North across the midfield. His kick, scrubby old kick, and with the breeze it hit Graham on the chest and rebounded, and he'll take it to the boundary in front of Carey.
See how they use Roberts on the way through there, because Salmon's sitting back here on Carey, so they've got to keep doing that and expose Salmon and make him push up to get on Roberts.
We're in time on in the first quarter, 24 minutes gone. North Melbourne double Hawthorn score, but kicking with the aid of what appears to be a very strong breeze. Hewitt goes to the back of the pack. And this is a stalemate, and once again a bounce to take place. There are the turnovers. 5 turnovers to Hawthorn, costing a goal. North Melbourne have turned it over twice.
Be interesting to see who gets the highest efficiency today, because I reckon Fish was on 85%. That's going to be very high for anyone today in these conditions.
Speak of the Fish, he got the free kick. Advantages paid, taken by Graham. Chips it out into space, and the mark taken by Holland on the wing. He'll want to move it in quickly. Kicks it long, up towards half forward. And King in the favoured spot on the defensive edge of the centre square takes a good mark.
So the players that are reading the ball better, especially up on that half-back area, the ball is really dropping, isn't it? So players are adjusting quickly now.
Another possession for Roberts, who's really clocking them up, and that kick went 65 metres, but Carey just couldn't complete it. Chick, Hay, oh, he had it spent before he earned it. Chandler's on the ground, he's hatching it a bit. Gavin Dawes says, no, I'll bounce it.
Just watching Kerry here, he's very tired after chasing Graham down the ground continuously here, and looks a little bit flat at the moment, and the trainer has gone out to him.
Just looking at the way the ball's travelling, do you think, guys, it might be a 5-goal wind out there, and North are going to have to get a couple more goals on the board?
Yeah, I still think it's carrying a little bit this end, but obviously it takes off even more the other end. It's really swirling around.
Crawford. Chandler got him. McKernan off the ground, off the hands of Carey and Graham. Caplet pushed forward by Pike, and the umpire says take a free kick, Darren. And he will. The veteran, been around for a long time, Darren Caplet, playing in his 183rd game today. One of 3 men at 33 years of age out there on the ground for the Hawks. Salmon and Dunstall being the others. Tony Woods, former Lion, former Magpie, to the wing. Roberts might have been taken high by Salmon. Ball's on the deck again. And I don't think we're going to see too much pretty football today, but it's going to be a contest every time the ball is on the deck.
I think so. More often than not, Shane Crawford's been down there too, hasn't he, underneath the packs? He's working extremely hard today.
Roberts up to 8 possessions now. Peter Bell's kick partially smothered, touch, so that'll be a throw-in.
Hawthorn Football Club making a concerted effort to get 2-on-1 on Kerry on every given occasion.
Yeah, I think after watching the tape last week, they would have seen McKee drop back 2-on-1, and they'll be trying to do the same sort of thing.
Chick was the loose man in defence. He just told Robran to go back and fill up the hole using a taller player. Tallis got pushed in the back as he was going for the ball. Spills out towards the boundary line again. And there is the little fella who has been claimed by his cousin, Harvey, ever since he started playing well.
Yep. Peter Bell coming, yes, that's right, Peter. Peter Bell coming off the ground. So Tallis has done a good job in tagging him so far, kept him quiet and got him taken off the ground.
And Cochrane coming on, so they're going probably for a bit of a height mismatch somewhere, North Melbourne.
The late inclusion, Cochrane. McCabe shoveled it out the side door towards Lord, who gained 3 or 4 metres by dribbling it along the boundary line. A rather unproductive passage of play. And I think Hawthorn will be pretty pleased with this, with North Melbourne obviously having the breeze. If they go there, as Tony Free suggested, 13 points behind at quarter time, they won't be too dissatisfied with their effort. Robertson, Salmon, third man up was Scholl. Scott, hands were quick by Roberts. Again, bombs it long. And again, North Melbourne unable to complete the mark, but Hewitt good enough to get the second effort. Good tackle by Tallis. Well done by the Hawk defender.
Oh, it's 50, isn't it?
Hawthorn have had 30 more possessions than North Melbourne at this moment, so it's interesting to see on the scoreboard. North Melbourne are 2 goals still in front.
Switch of players on here, and Robran's got acreage. No one within 25 metres of him, the big fella, so he takes a couple of bounces, takes 3, runs to the logo. Carey had to do the chasing, the kick into the path of Dunstall, unable to complete it. McCabe flips the hand pass out. Robran, he's run all the way down, goes inside to Dixon from 45 metres, kicks it long, and it just drifts to the right.
And that was great watching him being a fullback, previous fullback, and playing on Jason Dunstall. Just watching how Archer played Dunstall then one-on-one, and then the quick leg speed of Dunstall to get off to the start, but Archer pegged him back, and then it was a beautiful kick from Robran, and then Archer got his hand to it and spoiled it. It was footy was the winner. It was great stuff.
Tallis off, Lekas on. There's the drift on the footy going to the back of the pack. McCabe can use Holland. His opponent all over him, Hewitt. And the umpire says play on now. Went to Holland, off to Lekas, just on the ground. Wobbly old kick, only goes as far as McCartney on his defensive 50. Told to play on. And there's the siren to end what has been a scrappy first quarter in a lot of ways, but you'd expect that with the conditions here at Waverley. Certainly looks as though the Kangaroos were kicking with the aid of a very strong breeze. They got a lot of drift on the footy. North Melbourne by 12 points. Let's go down to Andrew Maher on the boundary line.
Yeah, Pete, Tony, you were right. You were dead right, Tony Free, when you said that North might have been a bit concerned. Hawthorn picked that up in their huddle, sent in that last 2.5 minutes, sent about 4 blokes free down into North's back line just to contain that 12-point deficit. I think they're very, very happy with their first quarter effort.
North Melbourne by 2 goals. We'll be back to see if Hawthorn can capitalise on the breeze in the second quarter after this break. And we're back with you at Waverley Park at quarter time, where Hawthorn has equalled its lowest score for the season in the first quarter, 2-2-14. But they may very well be happy with just a 2-goal deficit behind North. Kepler and Lord, the goal kickers for Hawthorn. Carey has 2, Robertson, Abraham 1 each for North Melbourne. And Mark Roberts is the leading possession winner on the ground, Tony.
Yeah, the boys work playing him on salmon. He's picked up 10 possessions, 60% efficiency. The interesting one, Stevens, who's had 5 touches with 0 efficiency. So Shane Crawford doing a good job there. Woods, who's picked up Harvey, has got a bit of the ball. He seems to find space, and you'll see Kepler there with 7 possessions, 85% efficiency. Looks great.
Look at the use of the footy that Hawthorn's had, 91-55. They use handball much more than North Melbourne do. They're the least handballing team in the competition. And look at those efficiency ratings, 58-50, just what you'd expect in these windy conditions.
That's right. North Melbourne do play a long, direct game, so we don't want to read in, too much into it. But Hawthorn is certainly getting their fair share of the footy.
What about this by Jason Dunstall? Fantastic view of it too. And has he got sticky fingers?
And the agility for a guy his age and his size and strength, to have that sort of agility and flexibility and desperation, which we know he's got anyway, is an outstanding effort.
Now, what are they going to do in the second quarter here, Tony? Would they be instructed to not get too Dunstall conscious because they've got the use of the breeze and the ball is obviously drifting on the breeze? If they start going short, they'll probably negate any advantage they have with the wind.
That's right. Hawthorn generally do chip and go short, but I think you'll see them having a few shots from outside 50. They would have seen what North Melbourne's done. I'd expect Wayne Carey to go to centre-half back now, especially when North Melbourne are against the breeze, and it'd be interesting to see what Dennis Pagan does with him. But Hawthorn will be well pleased with their first quarter. The desperation and effort's been great. They're winning in the midfield really with Crawford on top, Woods on top. So Hawthorn have got plenty to be pleased about.
There's Ken Judge coming off the ground, and shortly we'll be joining Andrew Marr down on the ground, who'll be talking to North Melbourne Chairman of Selectors Mark Dawson. We'll see whether they are in fact happy with a 2-goal advantage. But the breeze is going to be a factor here, Ned.
Pete, just quickly, I'd just like to thank Tony Free for obviously being very nice to the North Melbourne cheer squad last week, and they're giving me snakes and lollies, and it's fantastic. Thanks, Freeze. I
got some butterscotch last week too, mate, so I was wrapped.
Yeah, the difference is they're giving you live snakes, Ned. Well, let's go down to Andrew Marr on the ground.
How have you assessed the first quarter, Mark?
Oh, I thought we dropped a couple of chest marks, wasted a couple of opportunities, but I suppose we're a bit slow at the start, but we seem to pick up a bit.
Instructions, you seem to be kicking into the breeze this quarter. What are any change to the instructions?
Fridge would probably play down back a bit, and we've got to create from there and make sure we've got plenty of run from the forward line.
Thanks for your time. Good luck for the second quarter. Back to you, Pete.
Andrew Marr with Mark Dawson on the boundary line just prior to the bounce of the ball to get the second quarter underway. Anthony Stevens, Shane Crawford, Brent Harvey in close proximity. There's the fish.
Hayes got McKernan down here, and Graham still with Carey, and we've got Chandler and Taylor are playing each other.
McKernan and Salmon going at it in the middle. It comes down to Robert Scott, whose reflex kick clears the centre square. Carey in the short sleeves, or the sleeveless now. Bell slaps it on. McCabe, tackled by Abraham. Ball spilled free in the tackle. Abraham, high tackle. Umpire was in a good spot to see it.
Yeah, I don't know, but just sort of might have slipped up there a little bit. And they've said it was low, but I think you might be right in the replay, Pete. We get one, but...
yeah, the original contact was definitely high there.
A little bit high, yep.
Left arm across the shoulder.
McCartney's gone to Holland down this end, and Blakey's picked up Crummell.
And that ball almost out of bounds, but a huge spike away by Chandler, and it just dribbles through for a behind.
Notice, Ned, there that Wayne Carey did maintain his position at centre-half forward. I thought he might have dropped back against the wind.
Yeah, and we'll see the how they set up here. They're going to go short, Hawthorn. North Melbourne not quick enough to pick up if they're going to a man-on-man situation. Perhaps they'll pick a zone out.
Crawford doing the running towards the wing and took a courageous mark, and off he goes. And he's got space in front of him, Shane Crawford. 2 bounces, nearly bounced over his head. 3 bounces, 4 bounces. Can come inside, has a shot at the goals instead, and undid his good work, and Archer's able to clean it up. Off to Blakey, dribbles towards the boundary line. Getting back Dixon, did well. Over the top, taken by Kepler. He can kick long and does. Up towards the goal square. Dunstall at the back. Almost taken by Lord.
Yep.
Kicks a goal.
Good play by Jason there. He just pushed Archer off at the last minute there, and that enabled the front and square. And of course, Lord better and got the goal.
Well, I think Shane Crawford there, Tony, might have had the goal of the year prize in his sights. He had a couple of options, but
been thinking about that, actually.
Yeah.
He probably took a bounce or two too many, didn't he? And when you take a bounce, more often than not, your eyes go down to where the ball hits the ground, and unfortunately, another smother.
Halves, wasn't that interesting then? You see how Shannon Grant went to go to the back of the pack instead of getting front and centre, and Lord got front and centre, and that's always the disciplined thing to do.
And just another thing then, Anthony Stevens, who was chasing Crawford, looked very tired, which is a real worry for North Melbourne 2 minutes into the second quarter.
He's worked him.
Awkward bounce in the middle, goes straight to Tony Woods, who throws one up in the air, and the drift on the breeze sees it go 35 metres. Knocked down by Pickett. North Melbourne players colliding, McCartney and Pike behind play. Chandler goes to ground, Taylor. Hawthorn's leading tackler this season, on his left.
Shocking kick.
That was like cement on cement then when Pike and McCartney hit each other then.
Cement on cement.
Darren Crocker on the bench, along with Johnny Longmire.
With the stoppages now where they create space on either side of it, very well instructed teams now.
Boundary throw in on the wing, Salmon front spot, knocked on by Woods. Blakey intercepts, taken by Crummell. Didn't travel the distance, told to play on. Left foot kick towards Holland. Bell showed courage to go back. McCartney got the bouncing ball, threw it on his foot, got it to McKernan. He handballed towards Roberts. Roberts paddled it on. Kapler's in there for the intercept. Ball spilled free in the tackle. Woods dispossessed by King. It flips out the back door and luckily ends with Carey for North Melbourne. King, handballs in front of him, tried to beat the fish. Scholl got to the back of Chick, kicked it long up towards the pocket. Wrestle going on here between Taylor and Chandler, and the Hawk defender did a pretty good job to get it over the boundary line.
Freeze, that was interesting then. Everyone knows now, I think, in the competition that Kingy's going to have the bounce or try and run onto it, take a tackler on, and then Chick left his man. But unfortunately, Chick couldn't keep the ball in front of him, let the ball get behind, and obviously his man was still there, caused some problems.
That's right, Ned. Yeah, King's got a real reputation now to take anything on in his path, hasn't he?
Tallis handball behind Kapler, but he was able to come back onto his left foot and kick it out in the path of Crawford. First to it, Pickett goes over the back, and Crawford's got another chance to do it. Couldn't do it a minute ago, so now he's in space again. This time, he kicks it long and kicks it to absolutely no one.
Nah, poor vision then. He had his brother in a little bit shorter and missed him and went the longer option. Therefore, hit Blakey.
50 metres here.
Yes.
Roberts is loose. They should be looking to use him. Like Harv said, Salmon trying to drop back. Roberts is the option, but the 50 metre is not going to help them at the moment. They'll all be able to flood back into the forward line and put some numbers around Carey and the likes.
North has led it 7 times at quarter time this season and won 6 of them.
And then they kick it to him. That's great stuff, Ned.
Well done, Ned. Terrific. Nearly broke his arm, patting himself on the back. McCabe on the ground. Might have been pushed in the back, and that's what... No, Gavin Dorr says, I'll bounce it.
Sorry, I just... I did exactly the opposite as I wanted them to do. Not allowed to do that.
Roberts just playing a kick behind play, and he just keeps picking up the footy, doesn't he? He reads the play very well and just sits himself in some good spots.
Salmon doing a great job in the ruck. Got the 3 Brownlow votes out here when they played in round 6. Abraham going back with the flight, took a very good mark.
Now this is about where he kicked the goal from the other end. I don't think he'll be able to do it this end.
Kicks to within 15 metres of the goal. There's going to be 7 or 8 players, and someone almost got a mark, and that someone was nearly Carey, who was about 4th man up. Robran saw what was in front of him, so went sideways and spread it to Graham. McCabe had to play on, back to Graham. Stands and delivers with a torp off his left foot. Blakey at the back, off his fingertips. Crummell making it hard for him. Good contest by Crummell. Very well done by Blakey, though. Used his experience and gained 15, 20 metres by kicking it off the ground to the boundary in front of Harvey. Look at this at the back. Carey coming up with it, but he was about the 5th man to touch it. And he was going to appeal for the mark. And the umpire would have said, you're kidding, aren't you? Salmon doing very well. Off to Harford. Harford's long kick towards half forward. Holland! Oh, what a climb!
McCartney's really got to fly with him. And he left it to Roberts then, and Nick Holland got the jump on him, and McCartney stayed down.
Dutchie was able to hang in the air. He's got the breeze behind him. This is about his limit. He'll kick from 52, 53 metres, but he fancies his chances. It's not a bad kick.
It's home.
It's a very good kick. Dutchie Holland caps off a great mark with a great goal, and Hawthorn moves within a point.
I did say that I was really worried that if McCartney did pick up Holland, that he'd create a headache for North Melbourne. It's turning out that way.
It's interesting there, during the off-season, Nick Holland worked very hard at kicking outside 50 metres with Dermot Brereton, and he now, you'll notice, really through the whole year, if he gets a mark on the 50-metre mark, he 9 times out of 10 go back and have a shot, and that because he now rates himself and thinks he can kick it. And that's good confidence, isn't it, Halves?
Good point, Ned, because a lot of players don't practice that because they're scared of doing their hamstrings.
Hawthorn with the first couple of goals. Salmon, Harford. Chandler made the contact. Taylor just bounced off Crawford like a pinball out towards Woods. Pickett knocks it on, but Hawthorn have the numbers here, and the looping hand pass comes over the top to Wood. Wood steady, took a bounce, then kicked it into the pocket. Holland might have been pushed out of it. Good contest by all 4 players. Ball spills over the line.
There's no doubt he was pushed out of that one, Peter, and because McCartney hasn't got the pace to match Holland, he had to do that then.
When the game opens up, Hawthorn do look like they just have a bit more leg speed, don't they?
Yeah.
And it's shown with North against Richmond and Western Bulldogs this year, so it's one to worry about for the North supporters.
Carey's dropping back now.
Shannon Grant coming off. Cochrane on for North Melbourne. Ball on the bottom of the pack again, and once again the umpire is going to have to bounce it.
Well, Freeze, Carey's got the ability, Pagan said this a number of times, he can call if he wants to go centre-half back or centre-half forward, doesn't have to wait for the runner. So I think he might have actually done that himself at this point in time.
Graham's trying to get dangerous on him too.
I think we might have seen a substitution in the umpires here. I think this is the emergency umpire bouncing the ball. Matthew Norton, taken by Salmon. Off to Harford, off to Woods. Stands and delivers, squaring kick, and there's that man drifting back. As we said, Carey takes the mark.
Good play by Nick Holland, made him earn it, and that's what you have to do.
Carey not a lot to kick to, so Holland standing off the mark allows Carey to play on. 3 bounces.
Yep.
Stands on the defensive 50, comes back inside, still not outside 50, but he's got it to Stevens.
Great poise from Carey.
Really was, because he had nothing to go to. Hawthorn was setting up out on that far wing, so to get it to a North Melbourne teammate was a great effort.
Good contest by Hewitt. Paddled on by Harvey. Has the pace and gets away from Check. Moves it on to Scholl. Well done by Harvey. Scholl's hand pass left a lot to be desired into the path of Cochrane. Roberts is there. Can give it back to Scholl, who snaps and kicks a valuable goal.
Well, let's have a look at Cochrane's play here, because the way he tapped it back inside, because I thought all they needed to do, Hawthorn, was keep running it towards the boundary line. But by tapping it back inside meant it was in a very dangerous position. And I was about to say, where is Carey now? But he actually worked out well for the North Melbourne side. We'll see here, over the top, it's running along. This is the play here right now. Just taps it in there, back inside, back to Roberts, back to Scholl. Good work.
Lucky kick by the look of that off the boot net.
Yep, in these conditions.
Could you keep your comments brief, please, Ned? Because we have to get to Andrew Maher on the boundary line. Has there been a substitution in the umpires, Andrew?
Controversy down here, Pete. Stephen Hanley off with a cork thigh. Got hit from behind, doesn't know who it was.
Could be one for the video throughout the week. Salmon off to Taylor. Up to his 50. Holland, very well done at the back by McCartney. Lord paddles it along in front of him, just off the toe, and it heads to the boundary.
Andy, do you think it'd be as bad as Benny Gales was a few weeks ago, or probably not quite as severe?
Well, I don't know whether it's going to get the same degree of headlines, Ned, but he does appear to be in a bit of pain, the young fella.
Obviously been looking at the Grant Vernon tapes throughout the week.
Here's a bit of a mismatch in the ruck here. Crummell versus Blakey.
And the tap taken by Crummell over the back of his head to Dixon, who off the left has a ping and misses to the left.
Yeah, that's what can happen sometimes when a bloke like Johnny Blakey, who wouldn't have done a lot of ruck work over his career, therefore gets caught out on those situations sometimes. King kicking in. North Melbourne basically spreading all over the ground at the moment, but King's pointing to one side, which is a dead set giveaway. I'm not quite sure if that's the way to go.
We saw the head-to-head, Crawford and Stevens. Crawford with more possessions and a higher efficiency rate, winning the battle at the moment. King's kick just outside the 50. Carey, third man up, punched it down. Harford, handball in hope, really. And Hewitt's got it. It's going to be a free to Hawthorn, though.
Holding the man, yeah.
And the kick will be taken by Daniel Harford, who goes on quickly, and Justin Crawford all by himself in the pocket.
Yeah, King didn't actually know which way the free kick was going. He just stood back there and got caught out, leaving Crawford alone.
Interesting to see Harford starting on the bench, and now he's on the ground, obviously. Should be a very important player to Hawthorn, and they need to get him firing, and because they've got a great midfield. Harford, Crawford, Taylor. If they get all those guys going, it's one of the best in the league.
I'm just wondering if they've just rested him because of his groins and that, just perhaps to get him to play a half or 3/4.
We had the good view from behind. Crawford missing to the right.
To the right, yep.
kicked just the one goal this year, Justin Crawford.
You noticed as the ball left his hand, it really did turn sideways. So it's obviously the wind playing a bit of havoc even with those with the set shots.
King, yeah, they're spreading once again. No, they're actually going to one side, so they're basically flooding, and he'll have to kick that way.
Got Archer in the pocket.
Oh.
And he didn't really make a very good fist of that kick in because it was nowhere near Archer. We were in a direct line with that kick, and Archer did pretty well to make a contest of it in the end. So the boundary throw-in to take place 45 metres out. Boundary umpire doing his thing.
Hawthorn have no players forward of the centre either at the moment. So
yeah, just see how Roberts came and done the ruck work then. So obviously Dennis Paget is worried about Blakey going up in the ruck.
You're watching it live on Sports AFL around Australia. And North Melbourne on a very windy day at Waverley Park in Melbourne leads 33-28. Roberts tried to get the tap down. Dixon did very well. His handball didn't really find a target and finishes up with Bell after Cochrane got it. Good shepherd there by Hewitt, got Crawford out of the way. Bell runs down the line, gains 20 metres, but it goes over in front of Scholl.
Freeze, you were saying there's no North Melbourne player in the forward 50 mark for the North Melbourne side. We see the head-to-head with Woods and Harvey, and Woodsy bit on top there with the percentage efficiency and also number of possessions. But it's good work from Hawthorn because they're actually not going and crowding up their forward line. They're actually dropping back across half-back and becoming free players because they eventually have to come through them at some stage in North Melbourne side. So smart work.
That's right. Just makes for a very congested game, though, doesn't it, when North Melbourne are playing so many numbers back. You can understand why they're doing it, but you know,
yeah,
it does make a great spectacle.
But it doesn't. But also then what you've got to do is make sure you use those loose players. We saw Carlton a few weeks ago where all the Carlton players still went man-to-man and it became even worse. So I think Hawthorn are on the right track here at the moment.
Salmon a little proppy. Barry Gavin, the Hawthorn physio, has been out to see him. Umpires plucked a free kick out here. Much to the chagrin of the Hawthorn supporters, it's going to go to Hewitt. By hand to Stevens. On his favoured left, and look at Salmon, he can't run after him. Barry Gavin's still on the ground, they'll be out to the fish in a moment. Stevens centering kick, Carey back with the flight. McKernan at the back of the pack. Pace should win out here. Well done by McKernan though. Taylor just grabbed him by the hand. Roberts gets away from his man, only just slung as he kicked it. Bell in the pocket, and a free kick, and it's going to North. Play on, he said. Bell on his left foot, kicks the goal. Well, he made advantage of it, but I didn't think it was much advantage at the time.
I thought they'd have to bring it back, but they let it go. He almost told him to come back, and it was great work there by Taylor, who's just worked again and again, but eventually North just kept it going forward, and that was the whistle was just blown there before, and they let it go on, and good goal.
Gee, if that was advantage.
Yeah, I know.
As it turns out, the umpire was right, Ned.
But if he'd kicked a point, I wonder if they would have been able to... Can they bring it back?
Yeah, no, they would have brought it back,
yeah.
I thought.
Oh, I don't know whether you can get two chances. I think once he's called advantage, that's it.
Okay.
Great effort by North Melbourne, kicking a couple of goals and you know, pushing forward against that breeze.
They've got the last two after Hawthorn got the first two of the quarter. And look at Anthony Stevens diving on the bottom of the pack there.
And North Melbourne's working Salmon here. They're getting 3 or 4 different players to go in the ruck. Now they've got Hewitt in the ruck, so they're really trying to tire Paul Salmon as the game goes on.
No doubt he's proppy. Nick Holland kicked the last goal for Hawthorn 6.5 minutes into this second quarter. Salmon with a volleyball spike into the path of Lord. 50 metres, measures the kick, drills it. Oh no, hit the post. Was there just about all the way.
He runs very hard, Lord, doesn't he? And it's all one way though. His defensive side of the game's a little bit vulnerable, but if he gets it, he's certainly dangerous. And they're all sort of congregating around the middle and then flooding to one side. King hasn't played on yet. Hawthorn are right onto this because they've brought a couple of blokes forward, so he can't play on.
And the side they've flooded to is the members' side. Wobbly old kick. Salmon, despite the fact that he's proppy, took the mark. McCabe's in a heap of space. He can square it if he wants to, and does. Off to Nick Holland. About a 5-metre kick goes to Lord. He gets another chance. This time a difficult shot off his right, and he misses to the left.
Yes, perhaps, I'm not quite sure if he could have gone off the handball then because he's in a lot of trouble. 3 North Melbourne players ran at him, but instead he decided to have the shot and missed the goal.
Who's that on the other side of where the kick-in's coming to, Halves? Is that just trying to pick him up with his hands in the air? Does it look like Hay? Because what's happened is that they're not going to kick it out that side. They're really...
yeah, they're going to one side all the time. He's got to hurry up from the umpire.
King's kick to the members' side again. Got 60 metres, carried just a little educated nudge, got Graham under the footy.
It's good when you've got targets like that, King, again.
Captain at half back to the wing. Bit of pushing and shoving, and Salmon goes back with a flight and is dragged to the ground by Chandler.
Good work by Robin then. Actually just got his body in between and let Salmon have an easy mark.
Hawk supporters calling for 50, and the umpire said, Chewy on your boot. Salmon to the 50. In the front spot, Roberts dropped what he should have taken, really. Ball's on the ground, so Roberts goes in. Tunnel ball's the handball through the legs of an opponent, gives it to King. King's kick inside the centre square. Chandler moves it on. It's an open forward line. Scholl's got plenty of space to work in. So is Abraham. Fell to the ground, and that is a great tackle by Ching. That is a sensational tackle by the Hawthorn defender, even though Abraham had fallen down.
Bit high, Ned, do you think?
I think so.
Didn't look it from here, but you're closer, Ned. Dixon. Free kick here, going to Hawthorn. Dixon to take it.
Got to move it quick now, otherwise North Melbourne will get their players back here quickly.
That's right. North are really flooding back into the defence there, and there's no point bringing it in slow and then bombing it in. The Hawks are going to have to really use the ball a bit better because they're getting a lot of opportunity forward.
Into the pocket. The lead is on from Dunstall.
Play on.
And he will play on. And can the champ kick his 49th for the season? Yes, he can.
Terrific play, and just to have that now, so to know that Archie's fallen over and to play on, that's a great play.
Well, I think the North Melbourne supporters are booing down here as we see the replay of Jason, because I think you find that was a little bit high, that tackle, when North were running into an open goal, and he's been coming off now, Pickett, by the looks of it. Bell coming on, I would imagine.
Abraham it is, Ned.
Abraham, sorry.
And Harvey is the man to come on, so that's none out of two, Ned.
I knew you'd pick me up on it.
No, you're doing a wonderful job down there amongst all your friends in the grandstand.
Carey's playing spare man in the back line here.
Well, Hewitt leapt all over Salmon. Harford got it. Loose ball. Very well done by the defender in Pickett, taken by Woods. Again, a 6-metre kick, not doing anyone any favours amongst the attacking brigade of Hawthorn there, and Pike finds the boundary. Now, let's have a look at it, see if you're right, Ned.
Oh,
you were right, Ned.
The first grab was a bit high, wasn't it?
No doubt about that. Umpire probably not quite in the position to see that, but you can see why the North Melbourne supporters are unhappy. McKernan coming off for North Melbourne, and a tall for a short Abraham coming on. Bounce to take place again on the 50.
Just watching King here, he's very loose in the back line here and often takes risks and leaves his opponent. So can be very testing for a coach sometimes, that.
Roberts. Crummell doing the ruck work. Justin Crawford backed out of trouble. Did it cleverly in the end. Off to Tony Woods, throws one up high. Wrestle going on under the footy, and McCartney just swipes it to the boundary.
Yeah, Nick's got to get away from wrestling with McCartney. He's too strong for him, and just move round and tire him that way.
It's almost the opposite to Blakey now, isn't it? He can actually run McCartney around, whereas Blakey before was perhaps could run with him, should perhaps use a bit more body work with him.
Salmon the top possession getter, Justin Crawford off, and Trelevin on for Hawthorn. Boundary throw-in just falls short. And there was a decent old shove there, and Gavin Dawes says, yeah, Dutchy, you can't do that.
Yeah, Nick's saying that he hit him in the side there, and it was a bump, but the umpire didn't see it that way.
Taken by King. Very congested on this member's side. Hewitt, the big fella, did the roving, but his kick let him down. It went straight to the youngest man on the ground, and Jonathan Hay. Now there's a runner inside the centre square, and that is Taylor. Switch of players worked here for Hawthorn. Taylor off to Trelevin. They want to move it quickly. There's no one in the other half of the ground, not one player. 36 players in this half. Kick is long. Holland. Down on the ground, Bell. Loops one to Stevens. Little banana kick towards the boundary line, and that might roll back into play. Shannon Grant, Crawford making a contest of it, and Grant eventually content to just dribble it over the boundary line.
Well, you called it, Pete. There's no one in this half at all, but now Taylor drops back and becomes with Robin, doesn't he, Freeze? And they're doing it well, I think.
Pretty smart by Judge to play Taylor back there, because he can use the ball and run, and he's the one that they're going to allow to run up and progress the ball forward.
Can you see Hewitt over in the middle? Have a look in the middle of the ground. I'm not quite sure if he can get a camera shot, just by himself there.
In the centre ring, all by himself. There he is.
And Robin's just going to move over slowly towards there now. So they're covering this quite well, Hawthorn. You said, Freeze, they're being very intelligent about it. Good coaching.
Turnovers 9-5 at this stage. Salmon was held. Umpire not having any. Working hard at ground level is Trelevin. Another bounce coming up.
Freeze, I mean, it goes down to say there's no point picking up your direct opponent if he's just taking out the play. You've got to think about what they're trying to do, don't you, these days?
No, that's right. And there's no point leaving a full back there either who hasn't got the running and use of the footy ability that a Taylor has.
One of the men in the box for Hawthorn today, Peter German, actually played for the Hawks,
Under
or
Dennis
played for
Pagan.
the North Melbourne in a winning side against Hawthorn. King, tackled by McCabe. McCabe in a tight situation. Well done by Harford. McCabe centres the kick. Can Dunstall get to it? No.
Good play, Stevens. And you're talking about Peter German. He did play under Dennis Pagan too, Peter. So there'll be a bit of rivalry there.
No doubt. Yeah. Hewitt off, Crocker on for North Melbourne.
Just watching Salmon at that last ruck contest, he doesn't actually say where he's going to hit it. He uses his eye movements, which is interesting.
King's kick from the back pocket. Clears the 50. Oh, great mark at the back by Carey. Sensational judgment. Told to play on now. Has to kick off a step into the path of Crocker. Leads Robrin to the footy. Robrin pushing back, makes the contest. Just paddles it back though, and Crocker takes it. His left foot kick goes into the pocket, and Taylor, just half a metre in front of Chandler, is able to find the boundary. Some of the crowd here at Waverley on a cool Saturday afternoon in Melbourne. Round 13, Hawthorn 2-10. They've lost their past 5, but they've been competitive in practically every game bar one against Melbourne out here a couple of weeks ago. Off the ground by Hay. Good spoil by Cochrane. Roberts, Crocker from 55. Carey just in the hole as the ball was falling, and the skipper will have a relatively comfortable kick from 25 metres out.
Yeah, right place. Just a really quick kick forward, and Graham didn't do anything wrong. It was just a bit lucky there. You'll see this kick here quickly on his left foot, and ball just carried. Graham was in front, which is the right spot to be.
Ned, did you just see at that ball up there that Stevens actually took Crawford away from the stoppage?
Yes, and that's smart play, because Crawford has to go with him when he runs into such a dangerous position in front of goals.
You're right behind it, Ned. Carey should have no trouble here.
And he hasn't slotted it straight through.
Oh, look at the turn on that at the last minute.
He's got there, I can see.
He's got it, yeah. No, they're trying to say it wasn't a goal, but it definitely was. It swung after it gone through, and there is a fair bit of breeze pushing that into that far pocket from where you guys are sitting.
Carey gets his third, and North Melbourne increases the gap. It's now 9 points.
There's Longmire swinging the arms, and he's come on to contest Salmon in the ruck. So it'd be interesting to see, whether he has an influence going into that position.
Carey going back to centre-half forward now, and Hayes dropping back with Graham. So a 2-on-1 situation with Carey and 2 Hawthorn opponents.
Longmire gets all over the back of Salmon in the centre ring, and the umpire will bring it back, and the horse says, sorry about that, Fish.
And Ned King's the spare man down here.
Fish feeling it a bit there. There's the head-to-head between Salmon and Roberts. What a battle it's been. Roberts picking up 10 possessions in the first quarter. Long kick by Salmon. Holland has to leap from the back. McCartney in the front spot judged it well.
It's a huge number of possessions, isn't it, for 2 big fellows, that? Nearly 14 to 15 each.
Playing pretty wide of each other, especially in the first quarter.
Longmire out wide.
And that's the direction it's heading, but did it reach him? Yes, the horse did well. Had a bit of a down day last week.
And the reason he's seen Longmire then, he used his arms so he could catch the vision of McCartney then.
Longmire, nothing much to kick to, so he's going to have to kick to a big contest on the logo. Robrin went the mark from behind. Maybe should have punched it, but it came to the ground anyway, and Gavin Dorr will come in and bounce. Live around Australia on Sports AFL. I hope you're enjoying this round 13 clash. Anthony Rock would rather be out there, and so would Brett Allison. They're sitting up in the stands with Brady Anderson watching on as the Kangas do battle and try and cement their place in the top 8. Crummel across his body, kicks it into a hole. Dixon, good hands. Very well done by Dixon to the run of Crawford. On his left, Dunstall led. Dixon goes over the top instead. Archer goes back and dribbles it through for a behind.
Yeah, he had Dunstall on the lead then, and very hard to kick a left foot goal from 50, as you would know if your non-preferred foot.
Looks very dangerous, Dixon, across half forward, doesn't he? Very clean hands. He's taken a couple of marks, and with his 6 goals last week, he looks like he's really growing as a player.
No doubt he's picked up a metre or 2 in pace this year, Dixon too.
Yep. And King looking again. He's he nearly went the other side this time. Here he goes.
Plays on.
The new one be long.
Likes to take them on. Inside out kick in the end, and Carey marks and plays on and kicks it long into space. Well smothered by Chandler. He did very well there. Off to Longmire. Pressure on the kick by McCabe.
Chandler's man, he didn't go with Chandler. He decided to stay back, and then the kick goes straight to him.
And the Hawks have got numbers to rebound it. Back to McCabe. Needs a shepherd, didn't get one. But Woods instead ran for him.
That's better, Nick. Good.
Well done.
Yeah.
Good mark by Holland.
Happy with that, Harves?
Yeah, well, he's just moving McCartney around a bit more now, and that's what he's got to do. And if Hawthorn can move it in quick enough, they can expose McCartney that way.
Hayes loose for a switch if he wanted to do it. In the middle of the ground, but it'll be a testing kick.
Will be a very important one too, just so Hawthorn can stay in touch, I think.
Holland's already kicked a goal from this distance. 51 metres. Not a bad kick. Great kick by Nick Holland.
Yeah, it wasn't very good off the boot, as a lot of kicks aren't today, but still got the required goal that Hawthorn badly needed.
27 minutes in, and Hawks draw a little bit closer, and it's going to be tight at half-time.
Just looking here, the replay here, and good movement by Holland then, and he found McCartney some 4 or 5 metres behind him.
North Melbourne now going with a bit more structured forward line, with Crocker coming down and Robin's picked him up. Scholes playing a more mobile half-forward flanker type role.
Carey's dropping back once again, and also King.
But Graham and Hay have stayed here. I think we'll find Hay will run around and
so, yeah, it's the last 2 or 3 minutes. That's why North Melbourne's doing it.
Yep.
Whenever they've trailed at a siren this year, Hawthorn, they haven't won. They're 2 points behind at the moment. Salmon's kick, disciplined from the back by Holland. As King looked as though he was in the favoured spot. McCartney paddling it, doesn't know what to do with it. Didn't make it too easy for Carey, but Carey made it look easy, and then he was held too long in the tackle, and he let the umpire know all about it. King with advantage paid. Sorry, Harves.
No, too good, Wayne, then. He's got the umpires on his side.
Trelevin inside the centre square. Graham. Abraham takes the mark. Stands on the mark as Graham kicks over the top to Chick. Still inside the centre square. Told to move it on by the Hawthorn supporters. His kick travels 55 metres. Dunstall just shoved Archer out of the way. Stevens headed towards the boundary line. Scott gathered nicely. The veteran dribbles a kick to Crocker. Tries to find Pike, who slips over. Still got the hand pass away to Harvey. Harvey chips it on to Chandler. Back to Harvey, the old 1-2. Harvey takes a bounce, delayed the kick. Over the head of Scholl, and Hawthorn can bang it back again.
They're doing this well, Hawthorn.
Yeah, switching the play. They've got to move it quick now.
Tallis, Crawford on the wing. Tallis down behind play after some pretty heavy contact there. And the contact came from Anthony Stevens.
Jason, go and grab the ball straight away.
And Tallis putting on a bit of an act there.
He'll come back though, I think, will it?
And there's a report.
Yep, they reported him.
Well, Tallis looked as though he was unconscious when he first went down, and he got up very quickly as soon as he heard the whistle, and Stevens will face the tribunal.
Robin off.
Harvey off.
Leckis comes on. Roberts comes on for North Melbourne in a double change as Harvey comes off.
Plenty of feeling developing in this game too. There's a bit happening around that centre forward area.
There certainly is. Pike and Crummell.
Kapler bombs a long one. Low trajectory. Crummell snaps with his left foot, and it drifts off to the left-hand side.
Hawthorn really picked up their game in terms of the use of the ball. We heard some statistics earlier about the turnovers. Plenty in the first quarter, but Hawthorn only 1 or 2 this quarter, and they're just using the ball through the corridor, chipping it round and just trying to break up this North Melbourne defence.
Mark Graham must be on Carey now, because twice in this quarter King has actually hit Carey, so he's got to be aware of it.
Barry Gavin's on the field again for Hawthorn, and he came out to Angelo Leckis that time.
Jeez,
Salmon.
Free kick, Johnny.
Yep. Carey was about to run away with it. And that's 50 metres. Carey threw it back. It actually hit the back of John Longmire, who was standing on the mark. Yeah, this is going to be a certain goal now.
That's very tough. I mean, he didn't mean to hit the North Melbourne player when he threw the ball back, did he? One would have thought so. And Carey is cutting loose.
He's ropeable, isn't he?
If looks could kill.
I think what he's saying is, I don't agree with the decision, Gavin, and this is another 50. So 2 against the skipper. This is only 12 metres, but it's going to put Salmon right on the goal line.
Steady up, Wayne. Easy.
Well, the next thing will be a report. He can't take him back any further. So if Carey goes on with this, he'd want to be careful. Gavin Doran, experienced umpire, moves away as Salmon bangs it through.
Here I am, Fish. Oh, no. Couldn't make the distance.
You wouldn't be able to get your big butt off the chair.
You're right. But I knew Fish wouldn't make the distance.
I think Dennis Pagan not quite happy with John Longmire either. A couple of free kicks when, you know, you really don't need to give them away. And he motioned to come off the ground, but he said, no, stay on and have another crack at it.
Looking at that replay then, Tony, perhaps there was the reason that Longmire put the knees in the back, that perhaps he might have got the 50.
Carey's coming off.
Carey has been dragged.
Discipline.
Yeah, I think it'll be just let him cool down a bit and make sure he doesn't do anything silly in the next few minutes, because
McKernan comes back on net for him.
It might be just a quick chat on the phone, I hope, because he's been great across the half-back line and the half-forward line, so they need him out there.
Carey heading straight over towards the phone. We'll keep an eye on that. The Hawks have the lead. Approaching half-time. There is Carey, straight on the blower to Dennis Pagan, who lets him know all about it. Chandler in the middle of the ground. Sends it forward to Crocker. Just couldn't get a handle on it. Might have been a hand on the jumper. Hawthorn defence does pretty well and spoons it out towards Tallis, who comes back inside, turned his men inside out. Head towards Crummell. Spoiled from the back by Blakey. Bell, twisting and turning, kicks to McKernan. He marks 45 metres out. Must be the dying seconds of this quarter.
This will test him, this kick, and he's going to go back and just bang it. But if this goes through, I'll take you boys out to dinner.
Oh, go on, Corey.
Not a bad kick. Swing around, Corey, swing around. Oh, yes! Where are we going then?
Power drum. Great kick. Corey, what have you done to me?
Right on the siren.
That is an amazing kick from that pocket, because all the other balls we've seen have just been held up and spun around, but oh dear, I've got to take you blokes to McDonald's.
Well, a couple of important goals there right at the end. One coming from Salmon after an indiscretion by Carey, and then a great goal by Corey McKernan. Andrew Marr, there seemed to be a fair bit of feeling down there in the last 5 minutes.
Oh, all over the place. Pete, when Carey came off the bench, there was a great deal of commotion on the North Melbourne bench, as you would expect, and they certainly had the feeling down here on ground level that North was getting a bit rattled by Hawthorn's consistent output right across the ground. Weren't looking for any one player to do it. North are sort of straggling off a little bit. I'm about 10 feet away from the Hawthorn huddle. And again, they're just really composed. They're not jumping around as if they've done anything terribly significant. They've done what they've done all year. Put themselves right in the contest at half-time with good, methodical footy. And I'm sure they're really, really thrilled with their first half performance. Back to you.
There was the replay, Andrew, of what happened with Wayne Carey. Threw the ball back and it hit Johnny Longmire right in the back. And the umpire straight away. And there was Carey on the phone to Dennis Pagan. And Dennis Pagan will no doubt be following that up as they head to the rooms at half-time. So it's a tight contest, plenty of feeling there. It's only a one-point ball game at the moment. Andrew Marr looking on as the Hawthorn players head down the tunnel at half-time. Let's check the score. It's North Melbourne 8-3-51, Hawthorn 7-8-50. We'll be back live on Sports AFL to Waverley Park in just a moment. Well, it's been a bit of a scrappy old contest at Waverley Park, but there was plenty of heat in it, especially in the last couple of minutes. And the North Melbourne skipper, Wayne Carey, has given Gavin Dorr an absolute earful here and been on the end of 2 successive 50-metre penalties, which put Paul Salmon on the goal line. He kicked the goal to put Hawthorn in front. Corey McKernan replied with a goal on the siren, and at half-time, there's only 1 point in it. There's the scoreboard. North Melbourne 8-3, Hawthorn 7-8. Holland and Lord have 2 each for the Hawks, and for North Melbourne, Carey is their major goal kicker with 3. Tony Free joins me in the commentary area, and there was a bit of heat in there towards the end.
There was a bit of heat, not only from Wayne Carey either. There's a lot of players around. Martin Pike was in there a bit, very competitive. I mean, the second half could be anything. I think we expected Hawthorn to come out, fight hard, a fantastic contest. The teams are very close, obviously, with North leading by a point. And, you know, it's just interesting to see what will happen with Hawthorn. They haven't finished well off in games recently, but I've just got a feeling today that they're here to play, and they're here to play for the entire game.
Here's a very good indicator of the wind. Winston Abraham inside the centre square, close to 70 metres out from goal, and the wind is having a big say in the outcome of this game, but I thought the game went up a cog in the last 15 minutes or so.
Yeah, it seemed to. They're playing totally different styles. North Melbourne kick the ball long and direct. When they're against the wind, they bring all their players back into the defence and then just try and run it forward. Hawthorn chip the ball around, chip it into the corridor and try and work their way down the ground, and they're getting more and more effective at it as the game progresses. So if that continues, you know, North might be in for a bit of a torrid time.
Craig Scholl kicking a goal there, and then Peter Bell did remarkably well at the 14-minute mark. I didn't think that was any advantage at all, but he was still good enough to kick the goal.
No, that was a fantastic goal.
Here's the chant. getting his one and only goal for the day, 1,249 for the career now for Jason Dunstall, and he's been pretty well held by Archer.
And this is the one where we won our dinner too, mate, where Corey McKernan put it in on the siren, and that was a great kick against the breeze.
Roberts, 15 touches playing on Salmon, and they've been playing wide of each other, as we said, but Roberts has done a very good job.
He certainly has. 15 touches is a great effort for a half of football, even if you're a small on-baller. Wayne Carey, 10 touches. I think he's been fantastic, both up forward and in defence when he floats back there.
And look at that, 7 marks in the windy conditions too.
Yeah, outstanding effort, and most of them have been contested too, so he's done well.
Good battle between Anthony Stevens and Shane Crawford, who are both in the top possession. Getter Stevens with 10, Crawford with 9, and Salmon 17. As we said, he got the 3 Brownlow votes when they met out here in round 6 last year, and he's heading towards another 3.
He certainly is, and Tony Wood's 15 touches, generally plays on someone, but has that ability to keep finding the football as well.
Good, Kapler's been pretty good across the midfield, and the good thing about him is he can kick at 60 metres as well.
That's right, and he's a very good kick, and it more often than not goes to a teammate, so that's great for Hawthorn.
Now, this comes as no surprise. They've had 41 more disposals, many more in the kicks, many more in the handballs, but the efficiency rate round about the same.
Yeah, it's just goes to show the two different styles, and hey, it's you know not unlike to see North Melbourne have less possessions than their opposition. More often than not, they do.
5 smothers there, and 3 of those from North Melbourne came in the space of about 30 seconds in one passage of play. There are the free kicks. The fans are finding their voice, mainly the Hawthorn fans, but they've got well, 3 to every 2 for North Melbourne. It's 15 to 10, and most of those occurring in the midfield. Now, here's the goal analysis. And what can we make of this? Well, I suppose the one thing that we can say is that both teams have kicked goals from 46 metres plus, and what that doesn't show, the 4 from 46 metres plus from North Melbourne could have been 60 metres plus, a couple of them.
That's right, and the goals on the run, set shots, and fairly even, aren't they? So both sides are doing similar things up forward.
So there's the scene here at Waverley, and let's take a look at the umpiring incident. To the left of screen, and there's the umpire going down. Now, I seem to recall, I reckon that was in the first 30 seconds of play that the umpire might have been injured there, and he has had to go off the ground, so I've had a substitution in the umpiring ranks. To borrow a phrase from a very well-known cricket commentator, it's all happening at Waverley Park, and we'll be here every step of the way on Sports AFL. We'll be back to take a look at the other matches happening in round 13 after this break. Live around Australia on Sports AFL, round 13 at Waverley, Hawthorn versus North Melbourne, and it's a tough and tight contest at half-time, with the difference being just 1 point in favour of the Kangaroos, 8-3 playing 7-8. A couple of other very important games going on in round 13 at the Melbourne Cricket Ground. Collingwood is doing battle with Adelaide. The Magpies have won 9 of their 11 clashes. Let's check out the first half highlights.
Here's Stevens for the Crows. Beautiful kick out to Cook. Members wing. Floats the hand pass over the top. Gathered in with a fingertipper by Tyson. To full forward. A push out. Here's a chance at the back. It's screwed around and a goal. The Bond. Delivered to Russell. Now to Williams. Space for Brown. 55 metres out. Well done, Gavin Brown. Into Krasiska. Free kick to Brown.
And we mentioned that.
Krasiska's kick scores. It might be allowed.
The advantage.
Oh, no, that's not fair because the Adelaide player stopped.
Oh, that's a shocker.
And that...
Buckley with penetration across the ground to Williams. That changed the point of attack. Now Williams straightens up down the corridor. Long to Rocker in the goal square. Rocker shepherds. It gets home for a goal. Gave him an option. Rashudo pushed out. No whistle. Burns and Bond. Bond's kicked 2 already. He's only 25 metres out. That's clever. Making his debut today for Collingwood. Off to Osborne. Kicked by Osborne. Rocker caught behind, but takes a mark. Right in front, 40 metres out. That's his first. Rashudo with penetration. Robrin. Bond for his 4th. Great hands. Running away from goal. Now gets a side of them and snaps back to goal. Another one. Bond's in the area. Costa goes back to Vardy. 40 metres out on the boundary line. Has a look at them. And have a look at this.
Oh, that's sensational.
There's the score at half-time at the MCG, and yet again, as has been the case all year, second quarter the problem for the Magpies, and the Crows lead by 13 at the half, with Bond kicking 4 goals for the reigning Premier. The other game going on in round 13. The in-form Cats, somewhat ravaged by injuries, with Ben Graham and Barry Stoneham on the sidelines taking on the Brisbane Lions. Here are the highlights of the first half at Kardinia Park.
From right to the top of the square. Raleigh couldn't take the mark. Leppich comes back at it again. McKinnon right there. Leppich drags it around. Oh, what a great goal, Justin. One-step kick, a high one. It's all Cats. Hocking drops the mark. Picked up by McRae on his right foot. Natural left footer. He's pinged that. That is not bad on the right from 50 out. I'll give you the drum.
Picked up by Snell. Barnes, great mark, 25 metres out. Should be able to reduce the deficit pretty quickly early in the second term. Barnes directly in front. Crowd tells us he's got the goal. Scotty Bamford, third in Fitzroy's best and fairest 3 years ago. Hasn't put on any weight since then, I'd suggest. His kicking's okay. That's a great kick.
But the ball's not going to get there because the line's through Bamford and Ackermanis, who's run a couple of times long and hard on this side of the ground today. Kicks into full forward. Scott couldn't take it. Chris Johnson hits him on the chest and he kicks it out of the park.
Oh, he really laid into it. Oh, what a mark to Bizzle. Difficult shot, runs around, onto the left, kicks it and kicks strongly. It's a goal.
Now down to 20 points the difference. Here they come again with Ackermanis looking to turn it back. Can't. Woolno's been very good since coming off the bench. To Minch, to Hocking, put down the glasses, put it home, Gary. He does.
Well, a different looking Brisbane Lions outfit. They led by 25 points at quarter time and still have the lead by 11 points at half time, 7-4 to 8-9. McRae, Leppich and Johnson, the goal kickers, with 2 apiece for the Brisbane Lions. Well, we've got plenty coming up here on Sports AFL, and of course tomorrow night we'll be taking a look at everything that's happened in round 13 with Stephen Quartermain, Craig Kelly, and good to see Ned working a fair bit because he's going to need to be able to pay for the dinner that he's taking all the commentators to. Wolsey, The Fish and Kate Payton. Weekend wrap tomorrow night at 7:30, and then of course footy feedback on Monday night with Tim, Derm, Gary and Rowan. No doubt Derm will be under the pump after his article throughout the week, and also under the pump Melbourne coach Neil Danaher. That's Monday night at 7:30 here on Sports AFL. At half-time we've got a great game here at Waverley, just a point the difference in favour of the Kangaroos. Back with all of the second half action in just a moment. Lights are on here at Waverley Park. Hawthorn leaving the rooms at half-time, about to come back onto the field of battle, and they're 1 point behind North Melbourne with the second half in front of us. Holland and Lord, the multiple goal kickers for Hawthorn. Carey, the multiple goal kicker for North Melbourne. And let's have a look at how they've set up their go-to men, and Jason Dunstall, the man they've gone to for Hawthorn, Tony Free.
Yeah, Dunstall and Holland both figuring there, and very important to Hawthorn. If Hawthorn are to win the game, these guys have got to really step up or continue to step up. Wayne Carey, obviously the main go-to man for North Melbourne.
Let's go down to Andrew Marr, who has some news for us.
Thanks, Pete. Down here with Kelvin Moore, and you'd be reasonably content with that first half, Kel.
Oh yeah, I mean I think we've been in this position a lot this year, but you know we can't. We can't be happy with the endeavour and all that. We've had a lot of the ball and we've probably overused it at times. So you know we're conscious of our second halves and we're going into it accordingly. So
do the players try and do anything different, given the fact that they have been here before in '98 and not come away with the number of wins they probably could have?
No, I don't think so. I think that's what happens to us in tight situations, that we do things different away from the guidelines. So we try and keep things in those guidelines, and I think we'll improve.
And is it a matter of containment this quarter to try and be as close as you can at three-quarter time and use the wind late?
Oh, well, that's part of the plan. Yeah, obviously they're kicking with a wind and it's a fair advantage down there, so if we can contain them, it's to our advantage.
And just quickly, Salmon, is he okay? Seemed to be a bit proppy towards the end of the quarter.
Yeah, he did. No, he come back. He's okay. He's 100% and he's playing pretty well.
Thanks,
so, yeah, we're happy with that. Thanks,
good luck, Kel. Back to you, Pete.
Kelvin Moore down in the rooms with Andrew Marr, both teams out on the ground. Let's take a look at the results of the contest out of the middle. As we said, Salmon was feeling an injury towards the end of the quarter, but he's doing a magnificent job for the Hawks in the middle.
Yeah, he's a real standout with the stats there, with 7 contests to win, 75% to Hawthorn too, and very important out of the middle. I mean, I think it's one of the most important facets of the game, and if they continue that, again, they're right in this game.
And let's bring Craig Kelly and Mark Harvey into this. And Ned, it's particularly important in modern day footy to get the ball out of the middle so that you don't give the opposition time to flood the back line.
Oh, no doubt. And we have seen how North Melbourne have played over a couple of times. We've had them on Sports AFL. And I think Hawthorn thus far has been the best side, how they've counteracted the fact that they make the forward line of the Hawthorn side very crowded. They haven't followed their man. They've sat back, been very intelligent about it. Perhaps going forward, they perhaps have looked to chip it around in their forward 50 rather than kicking it long. That's my only criticism, but terrific effort. Be interesting to see how they go this quarter.
Halves, from the coaching point of view, what do you think Dennis Pagan would have said to Wayne Carey about his outburst at the end of that quarter?
Oh, look, I think Wayne's been terrific in the first half of the game. I think he was just doing that to show to all the other players that no matter who you are, if you do the wrong thing, as in give away 250-metre penalties like that, you're going to get taken off the ground. And that's just an example, really, that he was setting to the other players.
And these conditions, halves, goals are priceless, aren't they? And to give 250s away to put someone on a goal line, it's just it'd be disappointing for Dennis.
Good to see North Melbourne's got McKernan back in the ruck here, because Salmon is really dominating this area.
Crummell, Holland and Dunstall for the full forwards structure for the Hawthorn side at the moment.
So it's a 1-point ball game as we go into the second half. Even Stevens in the ruck. Both ruckmen got a hand to it. It comes to Roberts, who's had a lot of possessions in the first half. Kicks over the head. It comes to the back of the pack. Scholl's trying to get back there with Leckis. Scholl might have been momentarily held by Leckis, and the ball spills over the boundary line for a throw-in.
Just with that ball coming into the forward line, then it did carry further than all the other players did expect. So if I was a crummer, I'd go to the back of the pack a lot of the times if we were kicking with the wind.
No doubt the Kangaroos with the advantage of the breeze. Carey likes this type of situation. He's lurking off though, and it's going to be McKernan and Salmon. Roberts, third man up, takes it on his left and just misses.
Yeah, sometimes that's a lot of set plays that will happen. The player will actually grab the ball out of the ruck contest and have a shot for goal like that. Robin kicking in, and they're leaving one side vacant at their kick in, so they may run into that space, I'm not sure.
Crawford running towards the members' side. He's ignored for the time being.
Got Salmon in short if he wants.
And surely he must use him. Salmon is 30 metres in the clear.
That's poor vision, isn't it? Really?
Oh, now that could be very costly. It comes back over his head, Robin, and luckily for him, Crocker has missed.
And not only is it important for the person kicking in to be a good kick, but also to have good vision. And he's actually ended up here.
He might have had enough halves, I think.
Kapler here probably play on now. He's gone to Robin.
He'll give it to Robin.
They've got no one on that side, but he'll have to wait.
Crawford provides a lead for him, but didn't really help him with the delivery, but the little fella was good enough to get it. He'll give it back if he wants to. No, he'll kick long. Wobbly kick, taken by the breeze.
Very wide too, Peter.
Yeah.
It's not a bad spot to be, though, is it, Freeze? You just get it out there, regroup now, because they're under the pump early in the start of the quarter. Perhaps think about where they are now and try and just keep forcing it forward in rugby style.
Yeah, so it's a really important quarter for Hawthorn, pushing against the breeze. If they can keep the scoreline fairly close by just playing this type of football, then it sets them up for a big last quarter.
Anthony Stevens throws one across his body. Carey almost flipped up in the air by Graham, bats it down, taken by Roberts. Steadies from 48 metres on his left, drives towards the goal and finishes brilliantly.
Yeah, Roberts is creating a few problems for the Hawthorn Football Club here. He's actually got 3 kicks in a matter of, 2 minutes 30 into this quarter.
Yeah, and 2 shots at goals, 2 halves, so somebody's got to match him up, especially when he is floating forward.
9 points the difference now. Mark Roberts has his second goal.
Robin is the bloke playing on Roberts, so he's got to tighten right up now.
3 minutes approaching in the third quarter. North Melbourne gets the opening salvo. In the second half, Mark Roberts has his second. One of the veterans playing in his 189th game today, and those 2 goals, his first 2 goals for the year. Can Hawthorn reply? Big jump by McKernan at the back of Salmon. Kick off the ground, lands with Pike to Bell, off to Roberts again. Brought his own football with him today. Across his body, Carey coming out, then went to go the Shepherd on Crawford. Scholl had it for a while, just put it on the ground, taken by Hay. Uses Taylor by hand. Out towards a one-on-one, Chick and King. Chick in the front spot. Didn't have anyone to give it to. Just had to paddle it along in front of him. Chandler there to make a contest of it. Dives on the footy. And over the boundary line it goes. Touch, said the boundary umpire.
Yeah, very important for Chick to hold his ground when the ball did come to an end, because King could have knocked him off balance and perhaps got him to the ground and got the ball, but Chick held his ground and good play.
North Melbourne has led 6 times at half-time this year. They've won all 6 of them. And they led by a point at the main break today. Mismatch in the ruck there. Salmon against Blakey. Salmon got it down to Harford. Crummell spoiled by Pike. Dixon and Peckett do battle.
Just noticing Stevens always pushing away from the contest now, isn't he? Trying to drag Crawford away, and it's worked for them. Hey, Crawford was very good early, but later on in that second quarter, I thought Stevens might have, started to get the upper hand.
McCabe's gone to Roberts now. Robin's been moved off him onto McKernan.
Dennis Pagan very unhappy with something in the North Melbourne coaches box. It's taken by Chick off a step. Lord might have had his jumper held there by Cochrane. McCartney paddles towards Bell. Kick in Hope. 3-on-1 there against Shannon Grant, and the 3 went out. It's Crummell. Stands and turns around just to Bell, smothered the kick. Did pretty well, the little fella. Off to McCartney, uses the run of Cochrane.
Poor kick, hit about 2 men free then.
Clears the defensive 50. Chandler tried to take a slips catch. It's left to Salmon to do the roving. Carey chips in front of him against 3. McKernan. Chandler in space, can use Harvey, and does. Harvey slips over, gives it to Carey, reaches down, got it off his bootlaces. Kick off the side of the boot though. Crawford getting back underneath it, took a very courageous mark. And they'll come along the members' side of the ground.
Lord.
McCabe gets it off to Lord. Lord can go over the top. He's got a man running for him. That man is Kapler. Kapler can move it on by hand to Dixon, and Dixon can run. Takes a couple of bounces, runs to the 50, steadies on his left foot, heads for home. Dunstall marks, and he will kick a goal. He'll finish up on a pretty tight angle, I think.
Was that going through, Ned?
No, actually, it's probably the wisest thing Jason did. It could have blown anywhere the way it was swirling around. Jason quickly pushed back, and it'd be interesting to see what happened. Hasn't put him on too bad an angle at all, but I thought it would have been a little bit worse from where he marked it. But will not miss this, the champ.
I think he might have got away with something there, Ned. He should be around a fair bit.
Yep, I'd say you're right there, Pete.
See where Archer's position on the mark there? See what he was doing?
Oh, it wasn't able to kick.
Really worked for him too.
Jason Dunstall gets his 50th goal for the year and career goal number 1,250.
It is a great replay. Look at this, 1-on-1, and he just pushing him back, and just the ability to a player to run into space and keep running and running. Eventually, as a backman, you've got to make a decision whether or not to go forward or back, and it always get caught out.
That whole passage of play, Ned, was fantastic by Hawthorn, wasn't it? They created the loose man, they ran hard all the way down this wing, and I think that's what they've got to do, try and open the game up, make it into a foot race if they can, and share the ball around.
All started off by courage from Shane Crawford. McKernan climbing all over Salmon. Umpire said no free kick. It finishes up in the hands of Abraham, who again bombs it long. Kick covers 65 metres. Crawford on the deck, just heads towards the boundary line. North Melbourne have the numbers if the ball stays in play. He can paddle it back here, Stevens, and he does. Abraham splits the pack. Inside to McKernan. McKernan to the top of the square. 2-on-1 to North. Roberts at the back. Just fell into his arms.
Yeah, good play by Carey. He got Graham out of the road there, knowing Roberts is behind him. And, well, Robbo's just shaking Wayne's hand.
Yeah, he said, thanks, Skip.
Thanks, Skip, yep. Good look away handball by Abraham over there. As we're looking here, McKernan wasn't quite ready for it, actually. And but good long kick. And that's what North Melbourne are renowned for doing, kicking the ball long and finding long options.
Yeah, great view of that on the replay. Carey just getting Graham out of the contest, as Harv said. Roberts will kick his 3rd goal from here. And North Melbourne goes back to a 9-point lead.
Tony Free, just tell me that.
Hang on.
I was actually touched. The goal umpire motion that the ball was touched.
No,
he's changed.
Changed his mind.
He's changed his mind.
Well, he definitely signalled touch there.
Wayne Carey saying, well done, umpire, you got it right.
Freeze, the centre bounces, I mean, McKernan something very early, and you'd think the last couple I would have thought would have been Freeze. I mean, he's just all up there. Balls hasn't even sort of got to its full height, and not letting Salmon have a jump at it.
No huge protest coming from the Hawthorn players here, it must be said.
Another change on Roberts. Leckis has gone to him.
Yeah, that man Roberts again, he's having an outstanding game, winning a lot of the footy over the ground, but more importantly, kicking a couple of goals this quarter for North Melbourne.
20 disposals, 65% efficiency, 3 goals for Mark Roberts. Hawthorn fans expressing what they think of the decision. The ball paddled out to Bell, who's quickly tackled by both Tallis and Taylor. McCabe bumped off the footy by Abraham, who while laying on his back got his foot to the ball, only went as far as half it, and he dribbles it over the boundary line.
Wayne Carey right now at this stoppage is directing all his players where to stand.
The 3rd quarter has been Hawthorn's worst this year. They've only won 3 of 12. North Melbourne have been very strong in the 3rd quarter, winning 7. So the Hawks must hang on here They'll kick with the breeze in the last quarter. Salmon shoved Roberts out of the way. Hand pass smothered. Woods got it. Tallis a finger tipper. Loops one over. On the ground is Chapman. Back to Tallis. Good hands. Kapler. Tallis continues to run. Well done by the Hawk defender. Kicks inside his 50. Good judgment shown by Lord to get rid of Cochrane. They want to move it on. Crummell has run down quickly.
Got options midfield. Chapman, they've got to centre it. They're going to now.
Kapler.
Good kick. Well done.
It's a good kick because it's a good option because Kapler will make the distance from there.
Yeah. And there's 3 or 4 other options there. So took his time, made sure he got back balanced, and then slotted it through to Kapler. And we saw him kick one here.
Kicked the first goal of the game, Ned.
Yep.
And he'll kick from 45.
And done
got it again, I think.
So good kick, well done Hawthorn. They're just got to keep in touch here, hang in for this quarter like Pete was saying, and then really try and storm home the last quarter with the breeze. So a great contest here.
And Hawthorn worried about Roberts. Hay is now gone on to him.
Now look at the goal umpire. This is the Mark Roberts incident, and he's signalling touch, and the field umpire went to him and said, look, if I were you, I'd change that. And that umpire is Andrew Malcolm.
Thank you, sir.
And he says, look, I'm sorry about pulling rank, but that's a goal. We're back in the middle. 3 points is the margin. And we're 10.5 minutes in. So it's a very tight contest. Hawthorn doing well to hang in there. The Kangaroos desperate for a victory.
Yeah, good play by Harvey here. McCabe's actually gone on to Carey. Will try to cover Carey's space with Graham, and that's left Harvey alone. He's telling all the North Melbourne players in the middle he's by himself.
North hasn't lost 2 in a row this year. And they're looking for the 10th consecutive win. Dixon taken high and will get the free in the middle of the ground alongside the centre ring. Moves it on by hand. Kapler on his left foot, another long driving kick. Lord watching the flight of the ball. King did very well, and the umpire said he's going to get the free kick.
Well, he did do well because he took his eye off the fly of the ball, and windy conditions could bring you unstuck, but it's good work then.
Roberts, his work rate has been tremendous today. Off to Anthony Stevens, who started running into the game late in the second quarter. Chandler's at the back of the pack. He was tackled very quickly by Harford. The ball spilled free in the tackle. Tallis heads towards Crawford. Stevens! Whoa! What a grab. And off he goes. Plays it on to half forward. Graham spoils Carey over the boundary line. That's going to be worth another look.
Sensational, wasn't it?
Crawford actually looked, he thought, oh, he's coming in. He actually sort of gave him half a leg up. And it was a great grab.
Abraham off and Scott on to tag Kapler.
Thank you, Halves.
No problem.
60 metres out, boundary throw in. Again a wrestle, again Salmon doing brilliantly in the ruck, but he gives away a free kick here. And it's going to go to McKernan.
Now, yep.
Well, if they're going to be consistent, that's 50.
Yeah, he's got it.
Extremely costly, aren't they, the 50s? Especially when you're forward of the centre, it's almost a certain goal.
That is going to hurt.
I mean, really, they should have learned from the Wayne Carey situation early in the game, the Hawthorn players, and to do that, well, just not on.
I must say, I didn't think there was a lot in the free kick, and I think Paul Salmon is of that opinion, with the discussion that he's having with Matthew Norton, the emergency umpire, and McKernan is going to kick from around 15 metres out. There's the angle that faces him.
Fish is a good con man, Pete, and McKernan's lining up for goal here. Shouldn't have any problem, and does so.
What sort of lead halves do you think North Melbourne will be looking for going into that last quarter against the wind?
It's a tricky one. They perhaps want to be 4 or 5 goals up as we're having a look at the replay here, and there's a little bit of a nudge there, and McKernan's probably acted on it and got the umpire's attention and got the free kick.
And that was sort of more leaning than pushing, wasn't it? But
yeah, dicey.
Have a look in the paper tomorrow. It'll say Corey McKernan's kicked the goal at the 13-minute mark, and North Melbourne, well, it really is goal for goal at the start. Roberts got the first, Dunstall replied, then Roberts got another one, Kapler replied. Now McKernan's got North's third of the quarter to give them a 9-point lead. Can Hawthorn get it back again?
Harvey's doing that again, making sure all the players know he's by himself.
McKernan with the tap, Bell off the ground. Heads out to the flank. Graham outpacing Carey. Tried to turn him inside out. Handball over the top. McCabe didn't have much room, and he was happy to go over the boundary line, and the Hawthorn supporters calling for a push in the back, and Andrew Malcolm, the umpire, was not having any.
Good pressure from Wayne Carey then.
There's the Hawthorn bench, interchange stewards. They've had a bit of work to do today. Now this wrestle again. Came off the boot of McKernan, I think, off to Harvey. Slips over again. He's done that a few times today. Graham ducks around a man. 15-metre handball to Lord. Pressure came from Scholl. King pushing back. Ball just dribbles along the boundary line, and the umpire says it went over. What do you think, Hards, from your vantage point?
Yeah, no, it was out of bounds, and I'm just not quite sure whether King should be able to kick the ball away like that after he knew it was out of bounds.
There's the head-to-head between Graham and Carey. North Melbourne skipper has been very good. Dennis Pagan made the point when I was talking with him on radio throughout the week that we just have such high expectations of Carey. And we said last week that he was down a bit when Darren Gasper did a great job on him. But that comes with being one of the great players in the game. Roberts, 2 taps. Shark by McCabe, in turn shark by Bell. Body on body here. And Graham a double-fisted at the boundary line in front of Abraham and Woods. The youngsters are here today. They're well rugged up, and they need to be because it's a cool Saturday afternoon in Melbourne.
Yep.
And as we look at the top 5 match possession getters, Roberts 21, Salmon 18, Woods 16, Stevens 15, starting to get the upper hand in the battle with Shane Crawford. Kapler 14. Scott twisting and turning, heads into the goal square. Lekkas going back, fingertips to it. The veteran Crocker pressures him, but that's an educated kick by Lekkas, dribbles over the line. North Melbourne leads by 9 points. Craig Kelly has gone very quiet at the big scoreboard end of the ground because he is in fact looking up the phone number of the Flower Drum restaurant.
Waiting for the ball to come down here.
I can't wait.
Judge will be very keen to get Crawford back into the play a bit more too. We've sort of lost sight of him the last half an hour.
Yeah, I'd tell him to go to all the contests, Tony.
High tackle by on Salmon. Umpire called advantage. It was played on towards the wing. Scholl was taken down by Chick, and he will get a free kick. Hawthorn supporters not very happy. Scholl directs it inboards, inside the centre square. Scott dropped what he should have taken. Chandler was there. Roberts, a long kick from 55 metres. Salmon pushing back. Which way will it bounce? Pitches on its point, and it's knocked over for a rush behind.
Yes, Fish then, he had to be careful of the bounce then. Sometimes they can go in wide angles and perhaps could have gone through for a goal, but he read it better than me, no doubt. Crawford playing on from the kick-in.
Good stat there showing the fade-out that Hawthorn has had throughout the year. They've been outscored by a cumulative 200 points in the second half this year. Graham might have got one high from Carey. Ball's on the deck. Blakey in front of Harford. Carey, third man into the contest. Comes out the back door to Graham. Great smother by Blakey. Graham gets it back again, and this time the boundary line wins out.
Just hanging in there, Hawthorn, aren't they? Look, it was 17 minutes into the third quarter now, and they're only a couple of goals behind, so just trying to maintain that pressure and bottle the ball up. It's certainly not a pretty sight, but they're doing it quite effectively at the moment.
Of those 200 points that Hawthorn have been outscored by in the second half, 120 of those have come in the third quarter. That's been their problem quarter all year. Salmon's kick finds the boundary line as he was falling in front of Scott and Kapler.
Harvey's getting taken off the ground here. I'm just wondering if he has to change his boots here.
So the boundary throw in, and North really needs to get a bit of an advantage here by the end of the quarter, because Hawthorn will be coming home with the breeze. And a stalemate is occurring at the moment. Salmon, again a little nudge, this time goes unpenalised. King, 2 grabber, the kick by Chick. Chapman getting in there, just dribbled it behind him. Lord paddles it along, off to Chick. Chance for the Hawks here. Chick on his right, throws a kick high in the air. Oh, did he mark that, Chapman? He did, he came down with it.
No, it's Holland, they've paid it to Holland.
Harford on his left foot, up towards Dunstall and Archer. Almost the veteran, it's a free kick.
Oh, I'd love to see this on a replay, because I think both of them are really having a wrestle, and Glenn Archer then got caught behind, and you see here, just let's watch this, because I think if...
He had him momentarily.
Momentarily. It's hard, though, because it actually has... What you find is the full forward pushes his arms back and actually keeps pushing back into you, and you're trying to go forward, and he's trying to go back to create the space to dive into in front. And I think that's all it was, but obviously they're pretty hot on that rule, and as we see, Jason should kick this.
3 times North have kicked goals this quarter, 3 times Hawthorn have replied. Yes, they have. Jason Dunstall, a very important goal for Hawthorn, and the Hawks stay in touch.
It just got to, like Tony Free's been saying, he'll see this is some great camera work today on these two, and you'll see here, he's pushing back, and then Archer's only got eyes for the ball. He's trying to go forward. He actually didn't hold on for too long, but...
it was fantastic use of the body, wasn't it, really?
Yeah. And
I mean,
umpires,
Archer,
umpires have never played full-back. They'd have no idea about it.
Harvey did actually have to change his boots when he did come off onto the bench then.
Yeah, he slipped over quite a few times today, Harves. It's 4 points the difference. 3 goals apiece in this quarter. And every time North's got one, Hawthorn has been able to reply. Tallis, skyrocket kick up in the air. Batted down towards Bell. Chandler. Loose ball coming out towards Crummell. Pike's there to make a contest of it. Overran it, Crummell. Chapman. He should have taken it first time. Cochrane up in the air. Crummell can make amends. Good tackle by Pickett, one of the best tacklers in the comp. They were all looking at the umpire and he said, play on. Chick into the pocket. Holland over his head. Free kick.
Push. And, Jason actually did that perfect timing. He was off balance to Nick Holland. That's what made it look so bad. And Jason Dunstall actually led into that spot, stopped when they thought the ball was coming over the top, pointed to goals. But you'll see in the replay that Jace just gave him a little nudge and it looked worse than perhaps it was.
And the North Melbourne supporters are saying they don't agree with that decision, Ned. Do I take it from their chant?
Yeah, they got good lollies too.
Holland kicks towards goal, won't score. Archer bats it through. Again, a wrestling match going on between these two great players. Here it is in replay.
Yeah, there wasn't much in that. A bit lucky, Nick.
Probably had eyes more for the man than the ball, and that might have told in the end.
Straight down the middle, zone was set up by Hawthorn.
And at the back of the pack, Carey just knocks it on, gains 30 metres. The ball's still running. Crawford pushing back, did very well. Outstanding running by Crawford, looping hand pass to Holland. Could have used Chick if he wanted to, but dribbled the kick 30 metres instead.
And as Harv said, that's where Nick's got to be working Jason McCartney up and down the ground, up and down, and he won't be able to go with him. But smart play by Archer then, saw Carey come up, knew if Carey could get the ball running on, there'd be danger for Hawthorn North Melbourne attacking.
Crummell, Bell, sharks the tap, off a step, kicks at 50. 2 up against Carey, skipper goes to the ground, Hay. Crawford again, running through the middle, carving a path to the run of Chapman, out into his path. He bats it on. Might have been better off letting Lord go for it. Chapman heading to the boundary line, well done. Gained 3 or 4 metres. Cochrane playing in only his second game. Lord using experience on his right. Which way will it bounce? Over the top. Dixon, goal! No! Oh, it should have been a brilliant effort there by Archer to get back. How did he do that?
I just threw his body, as per usual, horizontal with the ground, and just, this was dead set of goal. Look at this. Oh, so hard to smother like that. The ball was absolutely flying off the boot and got some momentum. Great work.
One of those 1%ers that the coaches love and that Glenn Archer does so often. King's kick lands on the chest of McKernan, who clears the centre square, kicks it up to the 50. Carey back with a flight, knocked down by McCabe. Into the path of Roberts. Hot handball for Scott. They're going down like 9 pins. Bell was grabbed and wrapped up in the tackle. Comes out to Holland. Hay it was. He heads up towards half forward. Now it's Holland on his left. Kicks towards Dixon. Punched away by Pickett. He throws one up in the air. Salmon underneath it. Woods racking up the possessions. Bombs it in again. 2 Hawthorn players, Crummell and Holland, against each other. Not much talking going on there.
Well, a couple of times we've seen Lord, I think it was Chapman a few moments ago when they're running down. Lord, obviously they hadn't decided who was going to go for ball. Lord should have held back and got body on King to shepherd and give his teammates space. Same thing then. Holland was behind, knew what was coming, should have stopped prop, given himself, his teammates some space and talk.
The rookie Cochrane coming off for Shannon Grant. Bit of experience. Tallis at the back. Gets the goal. Hawks have hit the front late in the 3rd quarter.
That's a great goal because North Melbourne were really powering forward a couple of times. Hawthorn hung in there, desperate, kept pushing the ball forward, and a result in a goal which puts them in front, Peter.
Yes.
And the interesting thing with this is the number of times Hawthorn, the ball's gone forward for North. Hawthorn have actually just turned it around because it's going with the wind, it just gets a run on, and they've actually stopped it and just tried to fist it forward and get it moving back the other way, and that's been the difference.
Hawthorn snatched the lead momentarily at the end of the third quarter, at the end of the second quarter through the Salmon goal, and now towards the end of the third quarter, they're back in the lead and they'll have the win in the last quarter. Down it comes to Harford. Bouncing ball to the back. Chapman tries to knock it on. Here's Tallis again. Throws one high. Crummell.
Oh, good hands.
He has got a very good pair of hands, the former West Australian.
Go back and slot it through now. He's just got to... there's no point passing off here. He's in a good spot. He's only going to be able to get a little bit shorter, but should be able to make the distance.
He turns 26 next Wednesday, Brendan Crummell. Could be an early birthday present if he can slot this one home. He's not a bad finisher, operating only at 16% efficiency. This to stretch the Hawthorn's lead to 9 points. And it's a great kick. The Hawks are on fire at Waverley.
It's a great comeback from Crummell. I mean, he got the... he's been at West Coast Eagles and also the Dockers, and to establish himself now at 25 or 26 years of age is a tremendous comeback.
Well, there's just eyes for the ball. Pike lost him in a bit of traffic and perhaps didn't think he was going to go for the ball, but Tony, that's a stand of a good player when you just focus on the ball.
Oh, it certainly is. It's a very difficult mark to take, a very high ball, and to take it with your hands outstretched or your arms outstretched. Yeah, a difficult mark, and he's done a great job. And then to go back and kick the goal, Hawthorn supporters very happy.
Rayden Tallis has been very important in the last 5 minutes for Hawthorn with a couple of excellent touches. McKernan climbs, Salmon got the palm down. Woods on the bottom of the pack, he copped a heavy one. Harvey, clearing kick. Look at the drift on that footy. It covered 60 metres if it covered a millimetre. McCabe. Oh, he wants to get it to the boundary line here, and luckily for him, it drifts over just in front of Carey.
Yeah, what Winston Abraham's got to do, he's got to go away from Wayne Carey, because McCabe's laying off Abraham and going to Carey, which means it's a 2-on-1 contest most of the time.
An anxious Johnny Longmire on the bench, youth and experience there. Crawford's going to have to run across the face of goals. In fact, he just concedes it.
He actually, when he kicked that point, he gave a little bit of a cheer to himself when he done that. Kapler will kick in, and knowing Darren Kapler's kicking skills, he perhaps would kick long or perhaps play on with his pace.
Half zone again with the two outriders and the rest of man-on-man halves.
Yep, he's gone short. Good on you, Darren.
Had a man in space, and that was Mark Graham.
He got Salmon in the middle.
Off to Kapler. Now he can kick it long, and he does towards the wing. And just unable to complete the mark. McCabe drifted over his head. Harvey gives it off to Shannon Grant. Up forward at the back. McKernan can run in and kick a goal if he can pick it up. Took him a while. Snaps over his head. Straight up in the air. Scott's got it. Still a vacant goal square. Scott snaps it around. Bell marks.
Good vision, and that's what you've got to do. You can't have a shot for goal. You've got to kick it to the top of the square, and that's what he done there, and Bell read it better than all the other Hawthorn players. As we have a look here, Scott looks inboard, didn't have a shot at goal, top of the square, and that's what results. Great percentage play. Just watching McKernan, then he hasn't got that flexibility in his knee to twist and turn like he used to have.
Bell gets the goal. Hawthorn's lead cut to 2 points.
Yeah, they needed that one, North Melbourne, to just get back in the contest. And they want to be going in with some 1 or 2 minutes to go, perhaps at least a goal up.
Yeah, 27-minute mark, very important now. Hawthorn, if they're going to win the game, and they're doing a very good job about setting that up, really need to consolidate now, hold the play in, and not allow North Melbourne any more forward moves.
Hawthorn has led 3 times at three-quarter time, and they've won 2 of those 3. Andrew Maher on the boundary line with a comment.
Mark Graham's just come off the ground, Pete, which could be critical for the Hawks. Seems to be favouring a right ankle. Seems to be in a fair bit of pain. Jade Rawlings has come on.
And Hayes gone to Carey.
And Rawlings has got the big task because he's gone straight to Mark Roberts. Bounce of the ball by Andrew Malcolm, deep in the third quarter. Again, a stalemate between the 2 ruckmen, both hands on the footy. Scholl twisting and turning, did well to get his kick. Carey drifting back with Hay. McCabe want to pick it up. Oh, he didn't do anything with it. Abraham wrapped up by Crawford. That was a great tackle. He had to do that, Shane Crawford.
Yeah, what he actually done there, Peter, he actually held the ball to Abraham Crawford when he tackled him, so he couldn't get it out. As we have a look at the replay here, Winston tries to break. See how he's holding the ball to the body. Good play, Shane.
And Luke McCabe would be the first to say thank you, Crawford. Gavin Dorr bounces it. Salmon puts it down on the deck. Woods in front of Harvey. He was tackled. He had it for a while. Well,
yeah, a very, very tough decision. I'm not quite sure why Salmon hit that ball back into the middle.
I was going to say that, Halves. He really put it into a very dangerous position for the Hawthorn side.
Yeah, as we're having a little replay here, Well, he perhaps did have time to get it out and then probably did the fake thing trying to handball it out and perhaps got the right penalty.
That's a gutsy decision by Gavin Dorr, right in front of goal. Ned doesn't like it because he's always on the side of the defenders. But Brent Harvey is going to kick to give North Melbourne the lead at the 29-minute mark of the third quarter. And the little fella makes no mistake.
The freeze judge, he wouldn't be happy with this.
No, it's such an important time, the last 5 minutes of every quarter, and North Melbourne kicking 2 goals after Hawthorn have worked so hard through most of the quarter. Yeah, you'd be very disappointed, Ed.
Margin is now 4 points. North Melbourne grabs it back. Keep in mind, though, the wind is blowing to the right of screen, and the Hawks will have it. And there is Mark Graham receiving attention on his right ankle, as Andrew Mars said. He's on the spot, watching Barry Gavin treating him. Andrew?
Yeah, he's in a bit of pain. But there's about 4 of the Hawthorn medical staff sweating over the top of him. So I think they think that it's pretty important to get him back onto the ground as quickly as possible.
Almost 30 minutes gone in the third quarter. We knew it was going to be tight today at Waverley, and that's exactly the way it's turned out. Chandler carried forward in the Taylor tackle. Will take the free kick in the middle of the ground, adjacent to the centre ring.
Hawthorn have got to push a few players back into the forward line now.
Chandler kicks long, as is North Melbourne's want. Carey was pushed fair square in the middle of the back. No free kick. Scott dribbles it to the boundary line. And Carey just saying to the umpire, didn't you see that? There it was. And the umpire calling play on, not 2 in front of goals for the Kangas. Now, there's basically almost no one goal side of this.
No.
On the boundary throw in, they'll be running onto it. McKernan on his left foot, kicks it out on the full.
Yeah, Salmon was a wake up to Corey grabbing out of the ruck there and put the tackle on, and therefore caused him to kick out of bounds on the full, and Crawford will kick it. Just he'll hold it up here, kick long to a contest, and hopefully run over the boundary line.
Free kicks 19-15 in Hawthorn's favour. 50-metre kick from Crawford.
Yep, that's what they want.
Robin just slaps it over the line, and that's something that Lee Matthews was talking about in his column in the Herald Sun throughout the week about, well, he was talking about kick-outs from behinds, but that was virtually the same situation. Halves going the low risk.
Just trying to run the clock down so they don't get another goal before three-quarter time.
We don't know how long there is to go. This quarter's been going a while. Salmon's been magnificent in the ruck today. Woods, King, Lord at the back. King got a cruel bounce. Holland, cleverly.
Just got rid of Jason McCartney there and spun back in and knew the ball would drop short.
Robin's long kick. Crummel, again, good hands. Marks right on the 50. He'll want to move it on.
Get back and get up, and Nick Hollands ran in very hard. Should get this.
Well done by Dutchie, but the wind just got hold of it and pulled it up, and it fell onto the chest of Roberts. Good running there by Holland, but the wind a factor in that kick.
North Melbourne got a loose man here too.
Yeah,
Chandler off to Stevens on the logo. Great chase by Crawford, nearly got him. McKernan dodges the man, 55 metres out, bombs it long.
It's a goal.
Great goal by the big fella.
I mean, that was a terrific effort by Crawford to put that tackle on, but Stevens is still able to get the ball through to McKernan. As we have a look here, look at the run down, the pace by Crawford. Great tackle, but he didn't pin the arms. That was the problem there. McKernan got round Salmon quite easy and put it through for a long goal.
And here is this critical period that Tony Free you were talking about. North Melbourne have kicked 3 goals in 5 minutes and now lead by 10 points.
Yeah, it's amazing, isn't it? And they call it red time coaches or critical time or whatever, but certainly they think the players' focus as they fatigue drops off a little bit. Might be the case here with Hawthorn, and very important period.
Kangas by 10. Surely the siren must go any moment. Scoreboard clock ticks over towards the 33-minute mark. Woods in the middle of the ground. Dixon comes charging through. It's a loose ball. Which way will it fall? No way, because it's a stalemate and another bounce.
Super long quarter, isn't it, really?
Yeah.
I mean, not a lot of goals have been scored, so you have to wonder why 33.5 minutes this game.
Ball's been out of bounds a fair bit in this quarter half, so that's probably the reason why. Salmon was pushed and should have got a logie for that fish, really. Scott's kick goes to Abraham. Now he'll have a go at this. Kicks it very long. Into the pocket, coming out to meet it, Rawlings. Chandler's hurt behind the play. His hand went straight up for attention from the trainers.
Yeah, blood nose by looking. Oh, hit the jaw.
McCabe off to Rawlings, in space Chapman. Can he pick it up? Goes on with it, into the 50. Punch down, came from Martin Pike. McCartney, back to Pike. Gets the kick just before the smother came. Awkward bounce, lands in the arms of Blakey. He moves it on. Few trainers and runners out in the action there as the ball comes down to Taylor. And Hawthorn can move it across the face of goals. Hay, off to Robran. Robran had to square it. Gave it to Crawford. 34 minutes gone. Crawford towards Check. Boundary line wins out again, though.
They'll be happy with that, Hawthorn. Although they're most disappointed in the last 3 or 4 minutes that those goals have been kicked, but they've just got to not let another one get on the board.
Everyone's starting to chant for the siren now, so...
Timekeepers have gone home.
Yeah, I don't know if there's some problems. For 35 minutes, everyone's saying.
Yeah, there may be some problems.
There's actually been 11 goals kicked. We've just had the stats in, so that's got a bit to do with it, fellas.
23,845 people watching the action today. Stevens at the back, Robran. Not a great handball. McCabe, pressure on him from Carey. Hay hoiks it away to the wing. 4 players up, ball on the deck. Kapler off the ground.
Hold the man.
Free kick going to Hawthorn. It'll be taken by Harford. Any second now, surely the siren must go, but we don't know when it's going to be. Neither does Shane Crawford. Long towards Holland. Great mark.
He was floating back. He had his name all over that, didn't he, Ned? But it was still a hard one to catch because obviously the wind blowing it round. He's going back into the play.
Well, he's worked hard up and down, and as we said, that's always going to undo Jason McCartney a little bit, but strong hands and really an opportunity there perhaps to spoil for young Peckett, but didn't get his hand to the ball, rather was worrying about where Nick was. So he should kick this one, although...
Critical kick, Ned.
Yep, it can get a bit ugly as the way he drops it, as I said, because of the height from where he drops it in relation to his boot, but he slotted that one through. Well done, Dutchy.
Split the middle. That is a very important goal for Hawthorn. And there is the siren. 35, almost 36 minutes on the scoreboard clock. And so Hawthorn will go to the 3/4 time huddle after that mark and a goal by Nick Holland with their tails up. They'll be kicking with the breeze. They're on the bottom of the ladder and they're in search of their 3rd win. North Melbourne looking to cement a place in the top 8. It's 4 points the difference. Kangaroos lead in a beauty at 3/4 time. Back live on Sports AFL to Waverley Park after this break. Ken Judge addressing the troops at 3/4 time. Nick Holland has put Hawthorn within 4 points at the last break. And their second half fade outs we've already documented. Can they fight it out and score their 3rd win? They're 4 points behind. It's 14-7 North, Hawthorn 13-9, Holland and Dunstall 3 apiece. And for North Melbourne, their goals have been shared around 2. McCary, McKernan and Roberts. So Carey, McKernan and Roberts with 3 goals apiece. There are the combined stats. 65 more disposals for Hawthorn, and they're getting their efficiency rate up there. They've had a fair bit of the footy. Do you think they can go on with it, Tony Free? Realistically, looking at the game, you think, yes, they can. They've got the wind. They're winning more of the football around the ground. They should win. You just don't want them to think, because they've battled so hard against the wind, that the job's done. And that's why I'm sure that Judge is out there really trying to G them up, get them moving, just to make them realise that 30 minutes of real effort will win them the game. I noticed Dennis Pagan walking out, throwing the magnets around everywhere. So it'll just be interesting how he's going to play this tactically. Whether he sends all his boys back and tries to really bottle it up and run the ball forward like he has done, or whether he legitimately tries to win the game with kicking goals. A very animated Dennis Pagan talking to his troops, as too was Ken Judge. It's been a game which has been probably devoid of a lot of highlights, but we saw one in the 3rd quarter. This mark from Anthony Stevens was absolutely brilliant. It was great, and you see Crawford there just prop, knowing that he was under the ball, and Stevens just came like a steam train, didn't he? Straight over the top and took a spectacular mark. Wayne Carey speaking to Dennis Pagan. The 3/4 time huddles have broken up. There's Normie Dare, one of the assistant coaches at North Melbourne. Andrew Marr down on the ground with Mark Dawson.
Looks like it's going to be tough now, Mark.
Yeah, it's going to be tough. We need a big effort from the boys. We just haven't been able to creep away far enough. But We expect them to pull it out. They've done it before.
That long, direct style of game that we're so used to from Blokes into a breeze like that, do you need to sort of do something a little bit different?
Well, we don't want to waste it, obviously. We want to create some opportunities, but that's up to the blokes up forward to make that position so that we can at least get it to them or hold it up in the meantime.
And they were pushing deep in that second quarter. Do you need them to sort of hold their position a bit longer in this quarter?
Well, I think, look, it's really going to revolve around the bloke at centre forward, and if our midfielders can pick up a bit and give us some opportunities.
Good luck, mate. Thanks for your time. Back to you, Pete.
Ken Judge talking to Hawthorn physiotherapist Barry Gavin as the Hawthorn huddle breaks up at three-quarter time. Raiden Tallis, I thought, got a couple of important touches in the middle for Hawthorn in that quarter, Tony.
Yeah, I thought he did that quarter. That's where if North Melbourne are going to win this game, or Hawthorn for a matter of fact, the midfield is where it all happens. Against the wind, North Melbourne have got to push out most footballs in their direction. So it'll be interesting to see what happens. The personnel in there look fairly similar to the last quarter. So let's just wait and see how they go.
What a task for Jonathan Hay. He's standing one of the greatest players in the history of the game, Wayne Carey. He is the man. Can he turn it in the last quarter? We've still got Hawthorn personnel on the ground here, and they're calling for a player to come off the ground. I haven't seen this for a while. Have they got too many men on the ground?
Yeah, they have.
They've got 19 players on the ground, Hawthorn, I think, or have they?
No, they're not. They're just waving to where they're going, so they're just trying to tell him who to match. It was Chick they were trying to get his attention to work out where he was.
Yeah, well, they were frantically waving at him as though they were trying to get him off the ground. Here's the last quarter start. McKernan's tapped down, paddled on by Pickett. Early foray for North Melbourne. Brilliant handball by Carey. Off to Pickett. Bombs it long with the left foot. It heads towards the square. Great contest. Chandler getting to the back. Well done by Taylor.
Well done. Good work there. Great hands by Carey. And really, Hayes got to know that not to get tied up with Carey, but to know if it does bounce, he will attack it and quickly give it off.
And the clock says 36 minutes, 40 seconds, so it's still on the old three-quarter time.
I reckon there's a few problems with the old clock at this point in time.
Not our clock. Our clock's right. We're in the first minute. McCabe to the outer side, and the run of check marks on his chest. And there you can see the play forming in front of him as he kicks from the wing position up towards half forward. Holland, one-hander originally. He's on the deck now. Just chucks it out in the end. Taken by Crummell. On his left foot up towards Dunstall, and Archer one out. Archer went through his hands. Dunstall trying to dive on top of it. King did pretty well. Lord now snaps across his body. It's heading close to the goals. It's through. What a start for the Hawks in the final quarter. They're back in front.
Great play by Dunstall just to keep it alive. Then he got out-bustled by Archer, yet he was still able to make a contest, get the ball out to the crumbing of Lord, who kicks around the corner, which is not a percentage kick, but still got the goal.
Just so important to keep your feet too. Both North Melbourne players ended up on the turf, and Dunstall, kept his feet, and Lord banged it over the shoulder. Didn't really have much of a look, but that didn't matter because it went straight through the middle.
Lord's got his third goal of the day, a very important one, because that gives Hawthorn some momentum at the start of the last quarter. 2 from close range, 1 from the mid-range. 2 minutes gone now in the final quarter, and the Hawks have the lead by a point. And again, they're onto the loose ball in the middle, half it off the ground. Tallis. Dixon carried forward in the tackle by Pickett. Spills to Crummell. Chick calls for it and gets it. Took Pickett on, threw into the ground, back to Crummell. A chip kick from 50 metres. Going back with a flight, Tallis. Archer, volleyball spike away. Holland has 3 or 4 to beat. Couldn't do so. Roberts, who's been outstanding for North Melbourne today, into the wide open spaces. It's dribbling to the boundary line and over.
Someone's down in the middle there from Hawthorn.
Salmon.
No, it's Dixon.
No, it's Dixon, is it? Sorry, it's after that hit. So it was a goodie.
Hawthorn has lost 4 of the past 6 final quarters, so they haven't been finishing out their games. Dixon was buried in the tackle in the middle of the ground. Barry Gavin spent a fair bit of time on the ground today, and he's in paying attention to him. Good work at ground level by Tallis, and then the ball just spills off a boot and dribbles over the boundary line. So it's tight and tough. It's a 1-point ball game, and you're watching it around Australia live on Sports AFL. Hawthorn 14-9, North Melbourne 14-8. Boundary throw in, wrestling again between Salmon and McKernan. Blakey out to Stevens on his non-preferred right foot, but the kick covered 40 metres. Good spoil by Hay on Carey, down to Woods. Woods kicks it long, up to the 50. 2 or 3 flying for Hawthorn. Lord's down on the ground. just couldn't get it before the boundary line loomed up.
Yeah, Holland perhaps should have stayed down then because Crummell really had the front position there and should have crumbed.
Dunstall and Archer pretty well one out, standing in the goal square, practically no one else in the 50. As the boundary throw-in occurs, and it's taken by Crummell, tried to wheel around. Bell just flicks it out in the direction of Scholl. He goes to the ground and will have another bounce.
Interesting then that Taylor was hanging off Chandler. Chandler would go to contest we saw in the other quarter, the second quarter, and now Chandler's been told by the runner to come back and actually play on Taylor, so they haven't got that loose man in defence.
Salmon and McKernan coming to full forward where Jason and Archer are.
Hawthorn outmarking North 54-38. Bell off the boot of Crummell, comes down to Tallis, throws it up in the air. Dunstall and Archer. Dunstall just couldn't complete it. King needs to do something with the footy here. Archer had it on the ground. McKernan tries to clear. Good tackle by Dixon. Swish might have been dangerous. Bell clearing kick, only as far as Hawthorn though. Moves it on. Robran, one way, then the other, then back the first way again. Chips a kick, Salmon in the front spot, and the big fish marks in front of Shannon Grant, much too tall for him. And 50 metres, is it? No.
No. Good vision by Robran. Then he had Tallis in short, but preferred to go to Salmon, who was by himself on the better angle. And the big fish, well, he did kick a lot of goals for our old club Essendon, and he's good at set shots.
Getting some advice from Nick Holland on which way the breeze is blowing. 20 disposals today for Salmon.
Crucial kick, isn't it?
He got the 3 Brownlow votes out here in round 6 last year with 17 disposals and a critical kick. Dixon comes off for Hawthorn. The big fish kicks from 50.
Oh, no, it's gone
just
to the right.
left.
Yep.
Your right, our left, halves.
Yes, and yeah, in the contest of the game then, that was a very crucial kick, and they may pay for it later, Hawthorn. King's kicking in, and they're flooding to the one side again. It's interesting, Wayne Carey's pushing over now for a target, so he'll go to him.
Kick to the members' side. Again, a wobbler. Oh, great courage shown there by Crummell.
They've got to move it quick now before all the North Melbourne players get back.
Into the hole. Lord made the lead. Well done by Stevens. Harford. He's going to be in a very tight angle, and the tackle was applied and the ball goes over the boundary line. Umpire's actually signalling that he's going to bounce it.
Haas, we saw this a few weeks ago with Richmond when they were kicking down towards my end. But it's really important that Hawthorn do score here because they can have the play, control it, and then if it comes back this end and North get a goal quickly, it really does demoralise the rest of the side.
Bounce in the pocket. Pickett. And that's a try, I think.
For the life of me, I can't understand why they actually bounce the ball right on the boundary wall like that, because it's always going to happen that the ball's going to go out of bounds anyhow.
He might have been better off letting the boundary umpire do it. Well, he does now. Holland up. Crawford on the ground. And not much happening there. Gavin Dore will bounce.
Got to push a few blokes out, Hawthorn here, and create a wall.
Which is what they're doing in the second quarter, because now they've gone man-to-man nearly all around the ground. So but you're right, halves, there's just too many around the ball.
And there you saw it, no one in the 50-metre arc at the other end of the ground. There's nothing much happening here. They're calling for holding the ball. No. And the Hawthorn supporters saying, well, you paid it in the third quarter, Gavin Dore, but you're not paying it this time.
Hawthorn players are dictating the play now. They really should be spreading out because North Melbourne defenders are obviously going to follow them. Very hard to kick a goal when you've got 20 guys all over the footy.
I reckon the Hawthorn supporters had a case there. Holland's tap, Pickett just spikes it to the boundary line.
Good play by young Pickett then. Didn't get the free kick given away. Disguised it well.
Operating at 60% efficiency, Byron Pickett.
They're all going to rush onto it here, the Hawthorn players.
Crummell tried to take it, did a dive to the ground, and it came into the hands of Pike. Clears the zone. Good foot race here between McCabe and Abraham.
Oh, well done.
Abraham first hands to it. McCabe shrugged his tackle low. Off to Salmon, back to McCabe. Which way will it bounce? Finally, he picks it up. Then he chips a kick towards Crummell, approaching, didn't get to the contest. Ball spills towards the boundary where McKernan is lurking. He turns around, delivers off a step to a pack of about 6 players. Only 2 went up, Rawlings and Crocker. Came to the ground. Crocker a clever hand pass. Gave it off to Bell. Good smother there off the boot of Hay.
Salmon's cramping behind play.
Smother came from Mellington. Taken now by Harvey. He's clever. He's very clever. Somehow he found a path through.
To go to.
The kick just slews off the side of his boot. Robran gathers. Can give it to Richard Taylor, who can weigh up his options. His identical twin brother, Daniel Harford, making a bit of a lead for him, but Taylor's taken 3 bounces, kicks it over his head. Comes towards Crawford. Ball sits up on its point. Crawford was holding Stevens. Harford turns Blakey inside out. Shepherd off the ball. Was by Taylor. Up towards Holland. Comes to the back of the pack. It's seesawing footy. Pickett keeps a cool head. His kick towards half forward, and Roberts falls short of him. He can paddle it on, and does. Chandler was wrapped up in the tackle by Robran, and the umpire will bounce it.
You've just got to watch Harford here. He's got fresh legs and running very well. If I was North Melbourne, I'd look to a fresh player to put onto him.
Good point, Harves. They look generally tired out there, don't they? It's been a real contest all day, so whichever bench has got the fresh, fittest legs there, that'll make a big difference.
Tallis just brought himself off,
He's come straight off and brought himself off, and they weren't ready for the change, I don't think, and Dixon has now had to come back on the ground. Trelivin originally was going to. There's a great grab at half forward.
That wasn't smart play by Tallis, because it left them outnumbered at the stoppage then.
Yeah, he just had to stay on there, but look at this for a grab. Just jumps up and...
Guess who takes it?
Well, you see him take a lot of those marks on his chest when he really gets up, but lifting the arms above the head and just super strong hands then.
Critical kick for Wayne Carey. From just inside the 50.
Great kick.
It's drifting back.
Great kick there. As I said, Hawthorn had a heap of it down there. They congested it up. They didn't think about what was happening, and now what's happened is a little bit of poor thinking in regard to Tallis perhaps going off when he shouldn't have, and also the fact of this guy here taking a superb grab. There's now some pressure back on the Hawthorn side.
It's like Michael Jordan, isn't he? You wouldn't want the ball in anyone else's hands come crunch time. He's done it so often. We're anywhere within range, and the club needs a goal. He'll put it through.
Andrew Marr, what's happened to Rayden Tallis?
Second Hawthorn player in the last 5 minutes to cramp up, Pete, so maybe their second half fade-outs have got something to do with the lack of legs.
There he is on the bench as the action restarts. Bell was laying on top of it, eventually flipped it out. The Hawthorn men calling for holding the ball again, and again Gavin Dorr is not having any. Gavin Della not here today. Tony's probably around at Tony Shaw's place.
Oh, no doubt, have a barbecue tonight with him.
Secondary bounce to take place in a packed centre of the Waverley ground. Salmon's tapped down, comes to the back, and Robran. Left foot kick high. McCartney coming out, leading it without hesitation.
He's done quite well today on Nick Holland.
On his defensive 50. Squares the kick, not very good. Not very good at all. Hawthorn numbers. Chapman can go over the top and does. And Holland can mark. Oh, no, he dropped it. King after him. Taken by Lord. He dribbles one. Close. No cigar.
No, I don't know what happened to Nick then. He must have lost concentration then and therefore dropped the mark. But just on Nick Holland and McCartney, Ned, I would have thought Nick Holland's done a terrific job. Goals.
Yeah, no, he has. I think he's had the better of him. I'm just saying, he actually, a couple of times he's left him, met the ball and done some good things, except as soon as I said it, he turned the ball over.
King's kicking in, directing his players where to go. Come towards me, then kicks long.
Out towards 60 metres from goal. McKernan, little nudge. Carey, what a mark!
How many times has he done that today? Hit Carey with that target after the kicking.
It's a great kick too against the wind.
How hard's he working up and down?
Yeah.
The skipper leading by example. His long kick to the wing. Rawlings and Crocker. And Youth wins out from experience this time. It's on the ground. Mellington shovels it out the back door. Harford's wrapped up. And yet again we'll see a bounce. Look at this mark from Carey. Only he can take those, and invariably, Tony, he takes them when he's third man up.
And also hurt Holland on the way down too.
Yeah, when he hits him, he does hit him very hard, and the knee's always thereabouts, isn't it?
Certainly is.
Well within the rules too, don't worry about that.
Free kick to the Fish on the wing.
It's going too wide, Hawthorn, see?
Chapman sticks one hand up in the air. Holland couldn't grab it. North with the numbers on the ground. Scholl's kick across his body. Goes to McKernan, who marks on his chest. Between wing and halfback. Members' side directs the play inboards, inside the centre square. Carey again, Woods the front spot. Abraham's looping hand pass. Harvey's got speed, so has Pickett. He takes them on, takes a bounce, takes 2 bounces. He's taken McCabe on, just almost got the trip. Abraham will kick the goal. That's a brilliant effort by Byron Pickett to set up Abraham.
That is pace personified, that.
Well, just Harvey's pace and then Pickett's pace, and then, I mean, it was all just the fleet-footed brigade, as we see here. Another contest by Carey. Comes on top. Look at this, look at the pace there by Harvey. He's just a very smart little player, and we see coming to the left screen there. Not sure who that was for the Hawthorn player, but he worked extremely hard, and then
McCabe.
off the goal. It was McCabe, was it? It was a terrific bit of play.
Yeah, it was a matter of having the right 3 players there at the right time, wasn't it? Probably their quickest 3 almost, and they linked up together well.
But that's how... Sorry, Bruce. Sorry, keep going.
You go, mate. I'm just saying that that's probably the best way to kick a goal into the wind, isn't it? Yeah. Running it forward and linking up.
Salmon, Harford to the 50. Lord at the back. Again, delivering a quick kick to Dunstall. Spoilt by Archer. Justin Crawford slips over. Dunstall grabs it. Farms out the hand pass. Dixon will want his left. Handball backwards. Crummell has time to steady and find a man in Holland. And this time he doesn't drop it. And he got some attention there too.
Good vision by Crummell then to have the nous to put it to Holland in short. And good to have both sides of your body when you can do that. Because you're right, what a normally. Oh, big kick now, isn't it, fellas?
Certainly is. Margin 9 points, almost 15 minutes in. Nick Holland's got 3 for the day. His kicking for goal's been pretty good. It's very good again.
He just guided it through and got it.
Hawthorn back to within 3 points. They will not give in.
He must have done an enormous amount of work over the summer and early part of this season, because although his technique's still not fantastic, he just looks a lot more confident and a lot more solid in front of goals, doesn't he, Harv?
Yes, it certainly does. And caught one for his cause there, and
we almost could have got a 50. Didn't need one in the end.
Bit of body English from Nick Holland. He gets his 4th for the day. Jason McCartney, the man with the job. And there have been long-range goals, a couple of them from Nick Holland. So his kicking and all the work that he's done on it has paid dividends. The margin back to 3 points in favour of the Kangaroos. Crawford, too quick for his brother. They've done that a few times in the backyard. But that time the handball didn't find the target and will have a secondary bounce in the middle. North Melbourne by 3 points.
I'd nearly try Holland at full forward, try to expose McCartney with the pace in the lead and just move Jason to the side a bit, because he's not giving him much really, Jason.
Umpire just calling for a bit of room to bounce the ball. And Salmon gets the tap again. Almost found the umpire who got in the way. Crawford might have been held without it. Shane Crawford. McCabe had time. Measured the hand pass to Harford. Off a step. Holland again. Got 2 metres on McCartney. He's becoming a factor in the last quarter. Very important, Nick Holland. Plays on. Kicks from 55 metres. Long kick. Misses to the left, though. And reduces the gap.
Not a percentage kick then, Pete. You should have put it to the top of the square there, and he's too far out, really, to kick the goal. And didn't give his players a chance at a mark or a front and square.
Every time Hawthorn has conceded 100 points this year, it's lost.
King to Blakey.
Oh, that's Crummell going back. Got a hand on it again. Did pretty well, but Blakey was just able to shovel it towards the boundary line, and Chandler. Pressure on the kick, but he got it away. McKernan at the second effort, inside to Blakey, who can run. Gave the hand pass off. Stevens is on his right foot. Kicks towards Abraham. Marks at 55 metres. He'll want to move it on. Carey running into the pocket. Harford having to go with him. Abraham takes his man on, ducks and weaves. Kicks from 50. It's a long kick, 2-on-1. And the Fish just unable to complete the mark, and it's a behind. And Carey is having a big go at Abraham and saying, why didn't you give it to me?
Yeah, and also that the fact Steve, it was great play coming midfield there. Blake was about to kick it, there's no option. Looked inboard for the loose Stevens, and that created the option for North Melbourne. Good work out wide here.
This is the 9th time that North has conceded 100 points. Rawlings off to Chick. Leckus running down for him. Chick's kick. Covers ground, McCartney and Holland. Bit of a wrestle. Oh, great mark by Holland.
I'll retract that statement.
I was going to say, moving full forward, that'd be a good move. I can't wait to coach against you.
You'll never know, Ned.
His work ethic's been fantastic, Holland, the last 10 minutes.
Dunstall at the back. Crawford at the front. Pike on the deck, free kick.
Was for holding.
Advantage paid. Pike almost left it behind. Now he's got no one to kick it to, so he's going to have to hang on to it. Bounces the ball, gets the shepherd off the ball from Pickett. Crowd didn't like it, but it was fully legal. Carey. Hay grabbing hold of him. Bit of tunnel ball from Carey. Hawthorn able to gain 20 metres or so. An educated kick coming away from Richard Taylor.
For not a big fellow, Pickett just has that ability for timing. He waits for the other guy just to take that step, and when he hasn't got his feet on the ground, and bang. He certainly looks after the Shepherds very well.
North introducing some experience into the contest as Longmire comes on, goes straight to the ruck. Justin Crawford barging his way through. Beat about 3 of them. Lord knocks it on. Into the path of Woods, who gains 5 or 6 valuable metres. Dixon, Crummell, Lord off his left. Archer getting back, and he's just able to gather it. Gets the diving ball. Well done, kept his head.
Jason actually led forward then, and Lord ignored him and had a shot for goal, and Archer just read it better.
Bell's short kick to King. He kicks towards Stevens, had to go back. He's on his left. Hugs the boundary line towards the wing. Punch down from Crocker came from Rawlings. Salmon's kick into space.
Lord's got a go at it there.
Stevens was able to take a timely mark just outside his defensive 50.
Certainly not through lack of opportunity with Hawthorn. They're moving forward a hell of a lot. It's just method more so, isn't it?
And we just saw Archer's effort in the last line of defence. Off the ground, McKernan. Which way will it bounce? Leckus and Roberts. Rawlings there to do the housekeeping at the back. He can switch it into the middle, and Crawford's got some room. Shane Crawford back inside. Scrubby old kick. Crummell, Archer meeting it without hesitation. That's sensational defence from Glenn Archer.
And Crummell's feeling it.
Crawford out on the wing. Can he get there before it looms up to the boundary line? He does. Off to Holland. Squares it to Treleaven in space. He plays on and kicks towards full forward. Dunstall in the front. Punched down by Archer. Justin Crawford. Carey. McCartney. Bell. The North Melbourne defence standing up to it. Pike at half-back.
Doesn't Archer hit hard?
Good mark by Abraham. No, it came to the ground. And now he runs onto it. He's got speed. McCabe is sweating on him. McCabe did pretty well. And it comes to the back, and McCabe grabs it. Throws it on his foot. Like throwing a ball up against a wall, though. Crocker. Stevens. Over the head of Hay. Now a chance for Hawthorn. If Harford can pick it up, he does. Off to Chick. Chick just bombs it long. Dixon went for the big fly. Hewitt on the ground. Slipped over. Then regained his composure. Crocker and Rawlings. Well done by Rawlings. The youngster's done pretty well there.
Got to look the other way. He's got to get it out the other side rather than where the ball's come from. That's where the gap is.
Wayne Carey's just come back onto Holland too, so North Melbourne have made the move.
Treleaven, Leckus in a lot of space. Gets the bouncing ball over the top. Justin Crawford at 60 metres. Dixon's on. He's got it. Nearly slipped over, but he's taken the mark at 50.
Should kick this. This should be left-footed. He should be able to slot this one through, because certainly the distance won't be a problem, will it, Harv?
Just on his wrong side, that's all, Ned, but the wind's certainly behind him, and distance shouldn't be a problem.
105 plays 102. North Melbourne are in front at the moment. Ben Dixon, with his 16th disposal, will kick from around 50 metres to give Hawthorn the lead.
Oh, I'll tell you what.
It's coming back. Yep. It's a goal. The Hawks are in front.
Which way is it going to go? You just don't know, do you? And you know, Hawthorn have had all the play in this quarter, really, but they haven't been able to convert. It's just a matter of whether they can keep pumping it inside their 50. We'll have a look at the Chopper goal here on replay, and good kick for goal at this point in time.
It's a fantastic kick under the pressure. Now, North Melbourne need to kick a goal, obviously, to win, but they're going to leave Wayne Carey back at centre-half back at the moment anyway.
McKernan's gone forward, so he's still got a good option there, and young Hewitt as well, and Taylor coming off the back of the square.
3 goals to 2 in the quarter in favour of Hawthorn. Salmon brilliantly down to Harford. Harford's kick into the 50, bounces away from Holland. At the back, King throws it on his foot, heads towards the boundary line. All players tired, but some fresh legs here because Longmire's come onto the ground. Spent a fair bit of time on the bench. Woods makes a contest of it. Bounces over the head of Hewitt. Flipped up to Blakey. Salmon's there to tidy up. Could have gone short to Holland. Goes longer instead. And ducking in his shoulder take the mark. He rebounds. Salmon going back with the flight. Comes to the back and Chandler can run onto it. Gets a good shepherd from Harvey. Brilliant smother by Hay. This game really has gone up a notch. Fantastic smother by Hay, the youngest man on the ground. Harford wheeling out of trouble. Robrin takes his man on. Left foot kick to half forward. Pike stuck the hand up. Dixon turning the men inside out. Crummell to the voice of Shane Crawford. Feints the handball. Back to his brother. Justin stands and delivers to Lord, who marks. And he'll go back and kick from 30.
Good play by Crawford brothers then. And good vision too, and it's given Lord a chance for shot at goal. I just can't understand why North Melbourne would move Wayne Carey to centre half back when they are behind. How are they going to win the game without Wayne up forward?
You're right, Harves. The move was actually made while they were a goal in front, but now that they do need to kick goals to win, I'd be shoving him back up the other end too. But what great vision there, and what a great contest. I mean, both sides are so desperate to win this game. Just enthralling stuff.
Aaron Lord for his 4th goal.
He's put it through.
And Hawthorn has a 9-point lead, 24 minutes into the final term.
They've got to move Carey back there now. They've got to give him a target to kick to.
Look at Smother and Chandler. Look at this. It's just hit behind him, and then we saw Archer do the same thing. And that, seriously, that just turns games. People come to that, and they'll show that again and again this week if they win this game.
They've been described throughout the week as possibly the best team ever to sit at 2 and 10 at the bottom of the ladder. They've been competitive all throughout the year. Their problem has been running out their games, but they're having no problem with that at the moment. They've kicked the last 3 through Holland, Dixon and Lord. The difference is now 9 points. 25 minutes gone, last quarter. Can North fight back? Stevens gives it to Chandler. Up to half forward. McKernan almost a one-hander. On the ground, Hewitt. Hawthorn surging forward. Hayes kick. Back down towards the wing, and Dixon comes at the ball and meets it full-chested. Lekis. Back to Dixon, onto the run of Justin Crawford. He's told to run on. Takes a bounce, takes 2 bounces. Runs to 50, chips the pass. He was in 2 minds and finished up only finding Pike.
He got too close to the North Melbourne player running at him, and therefore the chip had to be fairly high, and Pike intercepted it.
And the kick just marked by McCartney, but he's still in his defensive 50. North into the breeze, need to move it on and move it on quickly. Last quarter went for 36 minutes, the previous. Here's Craig Scholl, bouncing inside the centre square and chipping to half forward. A wrestle going on, great mark taken by McKernan.
Ooh. It's really hard. As the ball was coming back, they just kept running back, and then McKernan here just picked up the flight a lot earlier than Robin. I think Robin's been terrific all day. Corey's done a little bit for his first game back, and certainly he slots this one through for his 2nd goal.
No, he's kicked more than that.
Has he kicked more than that?
He's kicked 3.
3 in 3rd goal. He's giving me a hard time today, Corey.
Directly in front. This to cut the gap back to 3 points. Aims for the left goal post. The breeze brings it back. North are still alive. 26 minutes gone.
They've got some options, haven't they? When he goes forward, kicks 3 goals, I mean, they've got Carey going back. We say he has to come forward to win the game, which he has now.
Yeah, I think he has gone forward.
So they throw it around a little bit between those 2 guys. Good work here.
Yeah, Nick Holland's worried about Carey going back. He doesn't know quite what to do there.
Yeah, Hayes got to pick him up. I just let Nick's got to get back up forward now.
Yep.
He's obviously going to run through as the ball is bounced.
Well, McCartney's back here by himself now, Ned.
McKernan back into the ruck too, so they've got the best ruckman in the ruck and their best forward up in the forward line. So North Melbourne having a crack to win this one.
Nick isn't going to actually run forward. He's going to stay back here by the looks of it. Very strange.
Huge leap by McKernan in the middle. Comes down to Justin Crawford. He goes off his left foot, heads to an open forward line. Archer dropped the mark, and there's a free kick, and it's going to go to North Melbourne and King. He slams it on his foot. McCartney in space. Took the mark just in front of the advancing Holland. On the wing, 3 points the difference. 27.5 minutes gone. McCartney to half forward. Ball comes to the back, and Carey gives to the run of Grant. Grant on his left foot. It's bouncing towards the goals. Longmire getting back, and it dribbles through for a behind. Dennis Pagan. The heart rate, no doubt, going up. Carey, great handball to Grant. And that looked home nearly all the way.
Flooding the far side of the ground, will go out there. Has to go out there.
Margin is 2 points. Taylor's kick towards Salmon and McKernan. Punched down by McKernan. Comes to Harford, off to Salmon. Salmon dribbles the kick, an educated one from the veteran. And he finds the boundary line on the wing in front of Aaron Lord.
They'll run down the clock now, Hawthorn.
Well, they've got to make sure they've told all the younger guys. Everyone's got to look up and make sure they know where the clock is, although...
They just need to win the footy first, though, don't they?
Yep.
Gain possession. That's desperate for a start.
We saw Ken Judge in the Hawthorn coach's box. Holland coming from the back, and he bats it back down to the boundary line, and that stops the clock again. 28.5 minutes gone.
It's not a bad move there, just having Nick around the ground, because he's... if he can follow, come up and just keep doing that for the next few minutes. Won't take that long, will it?
Hawthorn to come have Carlton and Adelaide in the next couple of weeks. McCartney gets the tap. There's the siren. Hawthorn have done it. They've won their third match for the season. North Melbourne, for the first time this year, loses 2 in a row. What a game at Waverley, and are the Hawks happy?
They're ecstatic out there, the Hawthorn players. It's almost like a grand final here, I'll tell you. We certainly haven't got the crowd of a grand final, but the reaction from the Hawthorn players, the effort they've put in, just outstanding. Great contest by North Melbourne. I mean, this is one of those arm wrestles all day, and Hawthorn have came out victors. Well done.
And already the theme song being sung proudly. And look at the emotion on the faces of the Hawthorn boys, the long and the short of it. Salmon and Harford. Andrew Maher is amongst all the atmosphere down on the ground, and he's heading over towards that big huddle of players and the big fish. Andrew?
Fantastic feeling down here, Pete. Absolutely fantastic. How does it feel, Fish?
Oh, that's elation, mate. I mean, we've been carrying a load, you know, and getting close. And that's just tremendous character, I think, you know.
You've played in some big games, premierships, the whole lot. This club's worked its bum off all year, lost some tight games. They finally win a huge one like this. How does this compare?
Well, this is as good as a final win, because, you know, you're sitting on the bottom, and that's where the reality lies. And just a test of character of the guys today, and you can see
let's have a walk with them. And just for the younger blokes at the club who have been really good for you blokes, how important is it for them?
Oh, it's great. I mean, there's quite a number of them who just hung in there, you know, and even though we haven't been getting over the line, they've persisted with, you know, their efforts at training in the game, so they deserve it, you know. It's fantastic.
Fantastic stuff, mate. Go and run off with them. Well played. Back to you, Pete.
Well done to Andrew Maher with the big fish. A great effort, and look at him with the youngster Jade Rawlings, who stood up too at centre half back with a couple of important possessions in the last quarter, Tony Free.
Yeah, the Hawks, didn't they all stand up when they had to? That last 5 minutes, they weren't going to let it slip. They were battling that hard. North Melbourne were equally battling and trying their hearts out. But well done to Hawthorn, sitting on bottom of the ladder. You know, a lot of poor press, I suppose, over the last few weeks. Hey, they're competitive, they try hard, but they weren't good enough. Today they showed that they were, and they get away with a really big and a great win.
Well, it's nothing like walking off after a great win. Andrew Maher is walking off and can soak up the atmosphere with the Hawks down on the ground.
Daniel, how does it feel?
Oh, this is just tremendous. I mean, it's been a long time coming. We've been close all week, all the year.
Yep.
Yeah, thank God it's over that way.
And you young blokes who are sort of in the middle of the rebuilding of this really proud footy club, how important are days like this, do you reckon? Can you see this being a bit of a stepping stone for the future?
Well, I hope so. I mean, we are a very young side, and to get a win like this over a quality side like North, it's just good character builder, and, you know, we can continue on the season and have something to live for the rest of the season. It's just terrific.
Go and sing the song, mate. Back to you, Pete.
And we'll be back to watch.